Hey, everybody, we are live here. What's up? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am here with the excitable PCP crew. That's right. It's me, Rockin Robbie. Next to us is Jelani. Below him, Strickland. J Strick. Then next to him, we have Brooks, the Shroom Mario Masterman Maniac.
Title just keeps getting more words thrown in there.
Why not, right? It's kind of like
it'll be sentences, then paragraphs.
Yes, an entire essay written about Brooks.
It'll take hours.
Tonight, y'all, we're having some fun because we are going to be talking about all 5 Rambo films. And all of us just watched 5 for the first time. So we're giving our official PCP review for that one as well. We are kickstarting Action Fest 2020. We're going to be doing a couple of these where we go through an action franchise. We're actually a few weeks away from our next one. It will be Mission Impossible. Sure. Me and Brooks are not the most excited about that.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
I don't
But
know.
tonight-
They could be good. I just don't
Tonight
have
is
much
all about
enthusiasm for
Rambo.
it.
Tonight's all about John Rambo. Sylvester Stallone. We know these movies. The first one was First Blood. Then there's Rambo, First Blood 2. Then there's Rambo 3. Then there's Rambo. Then there's Rambo Last Blood. The first 3 all came out in the 80s. The fourth one came out, in 2008? Something like that.
Yeah.
And then number 5 came out just last year. We'll be going over the kill count. We'll be talking about what we think about these movies. We're going to be ranking them. We're going to have a lot of fun. So let us know out there in the chat what you think about Rambo and just join in on the conversation. That's the point of these live PCP movie nights. We are gearing up to our 5th anniversary, so everybody get ready. 5 years of PCP, and we still kicking. It's still sane. Some people said 5 years on PCP, you wouldn't be alive. But here
I don't
we
know
go.
anyone that said that.
So we're going to kick it off with Rambo, which came out in 1982, directed by Ted Kotcheff. It was written by William Sackheim, Michael Kozol, and Sylvester Stallone. Apparently, he rewrote it a few times. It's something he has a habit of doing. It's based on the David Morrell book First Blood, which came out in the 60s, I believe.
1968.
Yeah. And it's got music by Jerry Goldsmith, and we will be highlighting the music because dun 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 dun. I freaking love the Rambo music, y'all. So let's start talking about First Blood. First Blood, I think that most of us are probably going to be in agreement on this. I think First Blood's the best one. I think it's the other ones are action movies. Right. And not that First Blood's not an action movie, but it's more of an actual well-rounded film. It's got a very strong point. Now, all the Rambo films have a strong point. That's why I really like the series, but none of them ever get close. Maybe one of them gets kind of close. We'll talk about that later, but they don't get close to First Blood. The performance by Stallone is great, especially in that last scene when he breaks down. The cat that plays Troutman, his colonel or general or whatever. What's his name? It's
Richard
Crenna. Oh man, love him. Love the sheriff. That's one of Jelani's favorites, Brian Dennehy. Yeah. I love this film. I think it's great. The music, the tone, everything about it is just absolutely spectacular. Not only is it the best Rambo film in my opinion, but I think it's it's way beyond the typical Rambo film. I love this film. I think it's amazing. I think it's brilliant. Stallone does a very decent job, but he's also surrounded by some really great actors. And I mean, I just love it. I like the story, and we'll get into it. So, Jelani, overall, what do you think about First Blood, man?
Man, I love First Blood. First Blood, first of all, it's more so of a drama that turns into an action, because it's about this guy who's just walking into town and all he wants to do is get something to eat, and he's pulled over by the cops and basically driven out of town, and then he walks back aggressively, and then the next thing you know, he's in custody. He hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't done anything. They're hosing him down. They want to shave him, and he loses it. And right when he loses it, this movie sets off, because the book, he actually kills one of the police officers trying to cut his hair. But in this one, of course, in the many rewrites that were done by Stallone, that's not the case. But it turns into this epic, it's like a switch cuts on. It's like he's right back in Vietnam. and it's like people are chasing him. Like you got weekend warrior guys going after him. You got the cops going after him. You have, just the world in general, and it's so it's emotional, especially at the end, especially the speech he gives at the end, the interaction with Richard Crenna, he was Colonel Troutman. And Troutman's awesome. Brian Dennehy as the sheriff. He's a pure, just an evil guy, and you can tell that he just couldn't wait to do this. Even though everybody in the town loves him, he's still a jerk, and he gets his comeuppance, and everyone gets their comeuppance. Even David Caruso, who's like the mate, he's just in the movie.
He's the least asshole-ish one of them.
Yeah, he's the least. He's the one that like points out that they're being asshole. Yeah. So I'm sorry I'm telling too much of the story, but the fact that all of this culminates into the scene at the end, where in the book, Troutman kills Rambo after whatever his speech is made, because he knows that even though he's doing all of this, but you still realize and you sympathize with Rambo, but at the same time, the book kind of portrays him like a maniac, and it's so poignant what he says, about how his friend loses his legs, everything. And I'm sorry I'm talking so much about it, but it's such a wonderful film, and it's not really like I said before, it's not really an action piece. It's more so of a drama that kicks into action. Yeah, and it's very relatable. Yeah, in a way, because I root for Rambo, and I will always root for Rambo.
Yeah, one of the reasons why it's easier to root for Rambo is because he doesn't kill anybody in this movie. There's that cop that falls out of the helicopter when he throws the rock at him, and it's kind of a silly death to blame on Rambo, I think. Yeah. So the kill count technically in this one is 0, and as far as I'm concerned, because he doesn't necessarily kill anybody. But when I was watching my Blu-ray, they had like a kill count that you could follow along with as one of the subtitle tracks, and it claimed that 4 people had died because I guess there were 3 people in the car crash during the car chase when they're chasing them, and the police car hits like another car or something and it blows up. So apparently some people died in that, but I don't know.
I don't blame Rambo for that.
I don't blame Rambo for that. But yeah, the book has a different ending, a much darker ending. Troutman having to kill the soldier he helped create because he realizes that there's no place for him in this world now. And that's a great thing that the movie captures, because the book, they said, also is like he is a sympathetic character, even though he kills a cop. Remember the scene in the movie where he comes across the kid and he like freaks out, and he like in the book he kills the kid, and it's just because he's triggered to do it, right? It's just they bred this into him. There's not a place for a man like that now, and this was something I like what it's speaking about, almost the disservice to the Vietnam vets that had happened. Like obviously the anti-war protests I think were very necessary, but sometimes it kind of went into a way where they were blaming the soldiers, because when you're that filled with like a righteous anger, you want something that you can take that out on. And it's like the vets got a big brunt of that, right? And that's a theme that goes throughout, especially at least the first 2 movies. They did film a scene at the end where he kills himself, but apparently didn't test very well. They wanted him to kind of have more of the, and I do like the ending where he gives himself up and then they lead him away.
First blood.
Yeah, speaking of First Blood, this was your first time watching all of these Rambo films, right, Jay Strick?
It was, man.
Tell us what you thought about Rambo.
It was watching all 5 for the first time was honestly a complete joy. And this First Blood really it separates, like you both kind of said it kind of separates itself from the other ones to me, because they're really like, not that it's not an action movie, it's got a lot more substance to me. You know what I'm saying? Like watching it for the first time, not knowing what was going to happen, it just kind of felt like I'm sitting there with my popcorn and every scene just felt iconic. You know what I'm saying? And like from the beginning to the end, but just like it just felt so iconic, and like everything that was happening, like Jelani described a lot of it, man. And the scenes when he's in the jail and they hose him down and they shave him, and man, it's just brutal. And it felt like so genuine to probably what a lot of people who come back from war would experience. And so, man, it just hits you in the feels. you root for Rambo. You fall in love with Sylvester Stallone immediately. And the
That
movie
hair,
is just
man.
the hair. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the hair.
I'm sad. I'm sad. I don't have long
that hair is
anymore.
on point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. The movie's phenomenal. 100%.
So with what you maybe your preconceived notion of what Rambo is and what the franchise actually is, which is just, big war explosions and shit like that. What were you taken aback at how different First Blood was from? Was it different from your expectation?
Yeah, I think it was like it kind of like I'll go back to we reviewed The Thing a few weeks ago. I kind of felt the same way about it. It's just like this iconic movie that I literally had never seen, and it just really moved me. It really, really moved me, and I really felt during this movie. And also, there's just badass scenes with him just setting up his booby traps, and that honestly have callback. A lot of these stuff that happens in this movie, there's a lot of callbacks to it throughout the franchise.
Yes. Yeah. He has that flashback, and he dips out, and he's just running away, man. And there's some really intense scenes. Now, Brian Dennehy does a great job of playing not the most asshole-ish cop, in my opinion, in this film. It's the guy that falls out of the helicopter.
Yeah, he's the worst.
He's the worst. He's the one who's you just immediately hate this like sleazy, bleh, This film takes place in Washington, right? But it was filmed in Canada. But I think the original book takes place in like Tennessee or Kentucky or something like that.
Yeah, hillbillies. That's why they mention a lot of hillbillies in this.
Yeah, but they're rednecks anywhere.
They're
everywhere. They're all over the place. I've been around the world. No, I think it's such a great film because it has that substance. It has that meaning. Now, each film has something it's trying to say about a real situation, but none of them do it as powerfully or as nuanced as First Blood, I think.
I think a lot of it's like relevant to the day too. Like 100%. That's what I kept thinking about.
Yeah, the police stuff.
Yeah. I was just like, dude.
It's like there's a line where Troutman's speaking to the sheriff after they think they've killed him in the mines. He's like, I wanted to kill that kid. And Troutman was like, doesn't set well with that badge, does it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Both of their interactions were great.
Troutman's great because he's just like, I'm not here to protect Rambo from you. I'm here to protect you from Rambo. He basically the whole movie, Troutman's just like, you guys are about to get got.
I'm the only one who could get him, and that's only because he trusts me.
That's right.
Yeah. And that powerful scene at the end.
Yeah. Kirk Douglas was supposed to be Colonel Troutman, but he quit after one day because he saw where the script was taking, where it was going, and he didn't want to be a part of it. And I was like, oh, Kirk Douglas, you could have. I mean, I think Richard Crenna did a great job.
Yeah.
But I think Kirk Douglas would have. I don't know. I think it'd have been too much for this film. The gravitas of him to be in this film, it'd just be a lot of work.
And Troutman, actually, the performance by Crenna, I think it's better as the movies progress. Mm-hmm. He's decent in this one. Yeah, because in this one, he's just basically explaining how badass Rambo is. But then they show it. He's badass. Dude, and apparently so much stuff like that poncho he makes out of that rubbish, like apparently that was just laying there. Like that's not a prop that they brought in or anything. They just kind of went with it. It's got real stunts, man, when he's riding that motorcycle and he just rips that dude off of it and he's going down the street and he's like, move. I love it. It's so it definitely is an action film, but it does have substance. And of course we've seen action films with substance before, but First Blood's like next level for me because of that. And Douglas, I think, quit because he didn't like the idea that they were going to change the ending where Rambo lived or something like that. And then this movie had been in development. God, it went through like 15, 18 scripts or something like that. And at one point it was going to be Clint Eastwood. They had Paul Newman they were thinking about. Could you imagine the movie with Paul Newman?
Yeah,
no.
As Rambo?
Yeah.
As Rambo.
No, it had been a completely different film, but I loved it.
They would have had to kill him.
Yeah, right?
Kill him.
Speaking of great dramas with substance, Brooks, what do you think about First Blood?
I think First Blood is probably one of my favorite movies. Like when I really think about it, because man, this movie I just love this movie so much, and it's like the messages this movie has about, how we treat you know, like the treatment of veterans when they returned from Vietnam, because that was kind of like the first time that vets came home from a war to America and were like greeted with hostility.
Yeah.
Because, because of the protests, and because, as time has gone on, we've kind of started questioning the reason for war altogether more.
Yeah.
So like, and by the Vietnam times, like, why are we fighting this? Why are we killing these people? Why are our boys, going over here to die for this, like, this fight that nobody really understands, but the politicians just keep telling us that it's important.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of disillusionment, and and I like also the message that Rambo is such a killing machine, like, and all these cops and these National Guard guys, like, they're out in these woods and they think they're tough, like, oh, I came out here and didn't you shoot a buck over here the other week? And like, they think they're woodsmen, but Rambo just like takes them apart.
It's a whole other level.
In reality, they're soft because they haven't been forged in that fire of war like he has.
Yeah, and even probably more intently and intensively than your average soldier, because he's special forces. Well, he's like a Green Beret, right?
He's a Green Beret.
And it starts off with that sad tone already, because he's basically, he's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, his friend has died from Agent Orange.
Yeah, got cancer, and everybody in his crew is dead except for him. And so it immediately starts that, and you're like, he has nothing. He's got nothing left. There's nothing there for him. And they never really. Sometimes what I like about the Rambo franchise is how subtle some of the character work can be over the course of the series, right? You realize that there is something going on with him and his father, but they never really address it. It's very subtle. Right. It's very subtle, like in 4, and then they don't really even touch on it in 5. You just kind of guess that something happened. But he's got nothing to go back to. He feels alone. He feels like he's not a part of this world. And then he's just getting picked on because, and the thing is this, that sheriff doesn't know that he's a vet, so it definitely deals with and like you were saying, Brooks, like the response when they came home was different. We were also starting to realize like the effect that war has on somebody psychologically. And that's what this movie
and all that.
Actual PTSD when they didn't even diagnose it.
Yeah, right. And it gets really into this, but this sheriff doesn't even know that he's a veteran.
But when he's told, he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He doesn't.
Because at that point, his blood's boiling, and he's trying to prove this guy. He's trying to I gotta get this kid. Yeah, and that's the thing that you see apparently in a lot of small towns is like sheriffs and cops and shit, where like, you're new in town, you look like you haven't showered. I mean, he actually didn't look as rough, but you imagine that the idea is that he looks like a homeless guy, kind of walking around. He didn't look. Yeah, he's a vagrant. He's arrested him for vagrancy without even checking to see if he has any money.
That'd look nice on his tombstone, wouldn't it? John Rambo, war hero, killed in some hick town for vagrancy.
Yep. Troutman's the best, dude.
Troutman is the best. Yeah, he is.
That was good.
Let's talk about that, man. What do you like about Troutman so much, and what do you think of Stallone's performance, Jelani?
I love Troutman. Richard Crenna plays this role very well, and throughout the films, he does get better. He is the cornerstone to what Rambo is, or who Rambo is, and what he should become, or what he's, as he goes through the films, how he's to become. But the first movie is just basically, Rambo's badass. I made him, and that's all he does. All he does is brag about his work.
I love the moment at the end because he almost doesn't know how to respond. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell that
when he grabs him, when he grabs him, Troutman doesn't know what to do. Troutman's like, you're grabbing me. Like, he's just still standing there. He doesn't, because he's a stoic soldier, and he's never seen, like one of his greatest works, like, break down in front of him. And it took him aback, and you can tell. Because, man, that speech was powerful. I'd have probably done the same thing, but I wanted to hug Rambo too, man. I was like, I'm sorry, man. But you did what you came to do. You shot up this town. I'm so proud of you.
He destroys that town.
He destroys that town, man. And Rambo, as Sly Stallone, this is his performance. And, but, man, he acted his ass off in this movie. This is Stallone's like I love Rocky, and I love most of the films he's in. Anyway, but this is his film. He was born to be. Yeah, he was supposed to be John J. Rambo, and you can just tell that his life was rough. I mean, he sells it. He sells it when he walks down the street. He's selling it when he's taking those cops out. Oh my gosh, that whole speech where he has the knife to Brian Dennehy's throat.
I love it. Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah, that whole thing. He's like, I could have killed you at any time. I could have done anything. Let it go. I just let him run off into the woods.
There's an even better moment that's similar in Rambo 2 we'll be talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about on the phone.
Yeah.
Rambo, nobody can make a threat like Rambo, you know?
But he is one of my, because of this film, he is one of my like favorite action heroes.
Yeah.
Other than Riggs and Murtaugh and Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. I mean, he's just on that list.
I'm sure you're a McClane fan as well.
I'm a John McClane fan. I'm a huge, because Die Hard's my favorite Christmas movie. And
this movie actually has a Christmas tree in the
I was going to say that.
It does.
This movie is a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
it's a Christmas
wow,
movie?
Rambo's a Christmas movie.
Rambo's a Christmas movie. I don't understand why we've never realized this before. We must have been really lit when we were watching it before and just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
But I was
got
watching
lights all throughout the town too.
Yeah, I think a lot of back in the day, they especially in the 80s, like we really liked color in film, and it's something that's made a comeback, and I love it. Because you guys know how much
color in there.
Yeah, you know how much I love the color, and I think a lot of movies, even if they didn't need to be, they were like, let's just put some Christmas lights up so we have some color in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you see, I don't know, but yeah, it's a Christmas movie. Rambo: First Blood is so.
It is.
It's pretty. But
yeah. It's pretty cool, and I love his performance. I love Troutman, or as Richard Crenna. I love their dynamic. I like that he's still trying. Troutman's still trying to talk him down in the mountain when he's in the mine cave.
Yeah,
and he's trying to connect, but at the same time, Rambo is already gone.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that rat scene in the cave, Jelani? I know you love rats.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, when I forgot all about it because I forget about it every single time I watch this film. I watch this film probably like maybe six times in my life, and every time I forget about the damn rats. And
this dude got creeped out during Ratatouille. I'm not even kidding.
Dude, Ratatouille is classic.
Of course, and I shouldn't admit this. I did scream. I did squeal very loud in my home when I saw that.
I believe that.
I can buy that. I 100%. I've seen you do it.
I forgot that they were there, and then they showed up.
I always forget that scene too, man.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Ah, yeah, it was bad. So yeah, I hate rats.
Speaking of rats, Strickland, what do you think about Stallone's performance and Troutman, of course, in this film? Crenna.
I'm a rat. Do rats just attack people like that? By the way, is that a real thing?
They do if they're hungry.
If they're hungry and they see light,
that is horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Rats are evil, man. Rats are evil. They eat anything.
God, there were so many.
And they're dirty.
They were everywhere. It was terrifying.
There's so many of them. Last Crusade and this was bad.
I just
like they came out of nowhere, and I was like, "Oh yeah!"
They were like biting them too. I'm like, "Yo, you got to get checked out now, man. That's not good."
Rats are evil, man.
Yeah, Troutman's performance was so. Him and Stallone's performance throughout the first three, to me, are like just the best. They really draw me in. Specifically in First Blood, he plays his role perfectly, just setting up how Rambo is a badass, like y'all said. And I love that scene when he's like, "We have over 200 cops here." He's like, "That's not going to be enough." Basically, like that's nothing. Like, do you understand what we did back there? So, man,
and plus, they're cops. They're people. They're some of them are like weekend, like Jelani said, weekend warriors. They're people warriors.
One of the guys was like a pharmacist. You remember? He's like, I got to go to the drugstore on Monday. Like, no, you're staying here.
Head of the guardsman.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, the scene. I think Jelani mentioned it, but it's when Troutman and Rambo at the end, and man, it just grabbed me, like, because I think us as men, like we we don't show emotion like we should. I think we should talk about things like that more. But like, he is really vulnerable with Traum in that moment. He like grabs his hand, like, and like that was super moving because I'm like, Robbie's right. Like Traum kind of like doesn't know what to do, but he just kind of embraces him and like lets him know he's there for him. And man, that was like super touching because it's like at the end of the day, like really that's what it's about because like this guy came back from war and has nothing. He's just looking to belong anywhere, really at the end of the day. And he's just longing to be loved by anyone, by anything. And I mean, his colonel. He's a colonel, like
he's a colonel.
That's basically all he's got.
Yeah. And he's kind of like a father figure to him.
Yeah.
And that's why that's one of the subtle things I was talking about. Like you find out in the fourth one at the end that he does have a father alive somewhere,
Yeah.
And
our Rambo,
the way that he's not there, apparently you get the idea that he never went back there after the war. Or maybe he did, who knows, because this is 82, right? I guess it takes place in real time. But like with that relationship with Troutman, and it even blossoms over the next two films, man. And it's something beautiful to watch, to see that passion
for sure
that they're bringing to the movie. What do you think about Stallone and Crenna in this film, Brooks?
I think they were both good, like Stallone especially. But I mean, he's got a lot of good stuff to work with, and I like the Rambo. Like once he hits the woods, Rambo almost becomes like kind of a slasher killer in a way.
Yeah,
like he doesn't kill anybody, but he
Mike
does have
Myers, man.
like that's kind of something that carries on throughout the movies. Like he kind of like when he's in the zone, he's almost like a slasher killer. Like he just pops up behind you. And like he's just killing people left and right. But
is this the movie that has? Is this the one that has him when he's like all muddy up?
He's covered in the mud.
He's covered in mud.
Cave wall. Yeah, it's this one. And I like that. That he is so dangerous.
Yeah.
And I always really liked the Colonel too, and how he's trying to explain to these guys just how dangerous this guy is that they pissed off, and they're just not buying it, and like they just keep running into this wall thinking that they're gonna and I also like, and he realizes, or he suspects, like after the cave in and after they blow him up in the cave, like that he's still alive, and the sheriff comes in and is like, you knew the whole time, and he's like, no, I suspected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like the last scene, the nothing is over speech. Oh man.
It's
like,
over.
How can you not feel from that, man? And after he's done all this carnage, like blown up all these buildings and like just fucking shot everything up, like he's on the verge of just killing this guy who honestly has it coming, kind of. But and it's good that the Colonel comes in and saves him from that. Like he taught him how to kill, and now he has to save him from making a mistake and killing somebody, killing the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What about that scene where Troutman calls him and he's kind of like trying to bring Rambo in, and Rambo, I've been quoting all week at work with Robbie. I'm like, he drew first blood, not me.
Yeah.
Man.
They drew
it's so good.
They did draw
They did it. They said the movie title in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. But I'll forgive it because it doesn't come across as cheesy.
No,
it doesn't.
Every other Rambo movie, aside from one, in my opinion, has lots of cheese elements. But not First Blood. Not First Blood at all. First Blood is a very serious film with a very serious meaning. Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. Mike's in the house. He says rats over snakes anytime.
Rats on a plane.
That's tough, man. That's a tough one.
I'll take snakes. Not poisonous snakes, maybe garden snakes, but never rats. Rats will die.
That scene too, when he's talking to the sheriff and he's got the knife up to his throat. It's very intense, and he says like, I'll bring a war that you've never seen, right? That you've never known, and that's literally what he does. He declares war, and like you were saying, Brooks, he like immediately goes into this mode. And he's so efficient at it too. He knows exactly what to do to survive in these situations. It's where he's comfortable. You know, you get the idea he's more comfortable there than he is in society.
Yep.
He's more comfortable like going through rat-covered water to get out of a cave than he is like, walking through this town.
Yeah, and he feels like he's all on his own right now, and that's why Troutman and his relationship works so well, is because that's something that connects him back to his humanity, but also to his to who he is as a soldier. And I love Troutman's guilt almost over it. You know, like we made him this, and now we're responsible for this, and that's something that gets dealt with in the movies, in the franchise, is this battle between like the difference between what it's like to be a soldier and actually like in the military of a country in war, and being the politicians and the CIA guys or whatever that are like making the missions like a go. You know what I'm saying? And the second one gets a lot more anti-establishment, where this one I feel is a little bit more. I think it's kind of an anti-war film. I get that feeling.
I can see that.
First movie is anti-war.
I love Brian Dennehy in this film, and I know he's one of your favorite actors, Jelani. Let's talk about him and the rest of the police. What do you think about them? Oh, by the way, though, he declares war on that town. He comes out there, he like blows up gas stations and cars. Like,
like nothing.
That's a bit much, Rambo. It's a bit much, John.
Well, he's doing what he got to do to survive, man. He declared war, and
you got to take out the enemy's weapon source.
That's right.
That's how he's treating
their
it. Like
supply chain.
Village in Vietnam, you know.
And he's basically trying to figure out where the sheriff would be. Like all the commotion was just him trying to figure out where the sheriff was hiding, pretty much.
Yeah. But I mean, there's not much else to say. I mean, to be honest, and plus we got a lot of films to cover, don't we?
We do.
But
we haven't mentioned, David Carradine is in the film. We talked about that, but like, one of the other doucher cops is God, I can't remember the dude's name, but he's in Twin Peaks. You know, he's the guy
with the redhead.
No, not David Caruso.
Yeah, not Caruso.
Not David Caruso.
I said, I meant Caruso, but he's like his buddy. He's one of the dudes in prison. He's the guy that's in prison he's the husband of the waitress in Twin Peaks who's in prison and then gets out of prison.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I cannot remember his name right now.
These poor cops.
But those cops, they all got maimed. I feel no sympathy. Even David Caruso got maimed. I was like, hey, it's what happens when you mess with somebody, man. You mess with Rambo. He dealt with everybody in kind. I love Rambo because it's justice. It's his justice. It's not the best justice to have, but you pressed a man. You pressed a man you had no idea about, and I bet you they've done that to other people. That's what makes it worse.
Yeah,
like they've probably done that to tons of people, and not many people come through that town of hope. You know what I'm saying? So I think that sheriff, especially Brian Dennehy, by the way, he's an excellent actor. He's a great character actor. He's been in so many things. I can't really name all of them, but guess what? He's awesome in all of them.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get one of those or the evil guy.
Yeah, he doesn't get one of those giant, powerful moments at the end, but I think he delivers probably the best overall performance in the entire film.
Right. He and Crenna as Troutman have a great aside in this film. They're just good. They have good chemistry together because he still wants, like, he goes to the bar to talk to him more about Rambo after he thinks Rambo's dead. And, he tries to bring up, they try to bring up this camaraderie together, which I really liked. Brian Dennehy he's a perfect foil to what Rambo was doing. And that final scene when he really pumps up and shoots the gun. And I mean, he's stalking him, and he's on the rooftop trying to find him. And Rambo's like, "Oh no!" And it shoots him. Shoots him off that roof.
In that scene?
I love Stallone.
Yo, Adrian,
Stallone's the best. But Brian Dennehy was a perfect foil for Rambo, and he was fantastic as that sheriff. I really hated him.
First movie I can remember where the cops were the bad guys. You think about it, I can't think of anything other than this where they actually had the cops being kind of villains.
I mean, I've seen plenty of movies where they show the cops on the darker side of cops, but they still are usually
Yeah, but
Kinda
there's like a
like
whole police
good guys.
force of,
Yeah.
of
This is a
bad
whole
cops
force of
kinda,
bad
you know?
cops.
That's what I like about this film is that there is no clear definition between good and bad here because Rambo's
isn't.
not doing the right thing. You
No.
know?
And the cops think that they're just trying to keep, their town safe. He's like, it's my job to keep the peace.
Well, they escalate the
to
whole
do
damn
that,
situation.
I gotta take these drifters and get rid of them.
How many local businesses suffered because of Rambo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's an
Imagine if he had
alternate-
actually gone and gotten lunch.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. There's an alternate universe where there's a movie where Rambo, the sheriff, just drives him to a diner. He eats his food, and then the sheriff drives him out, and he's like, "Thanks." And he's like, "Here you go, $20. Get you a hotel room." He's
Yep.
like, "Thanks."
It's in the multiverse.
Yeah.
And
somewhere.
it's a movie. Now that movie was not very successful in that reality, I guarantee.
The sheriff in the
That was
next
a short
town.
Yeah. First Blood 2, The Next Town.
The next town. Yeah.
And it's about the evils of fast food and the meat industry. Let's do the ratings then real quick because we do got 4 more movies to cover, but I just knew that we would probably speak more on
Yeah,
First
this
Blood.
is the one we probably
you're
want
right.
to give the most.
This is
service
one we
to.
give credit to.
Before we get
You're
to
right.
that though, Jerry Goldsmith scored this film. I believe he scored 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah, he did.
That music, that
He did.
theme, the solo trumpet,
That's
it's
really
so
good.
sad. And then just the
Yeah,
The
the
ma-
Rambo theme is like very adaptable. It can be sad and lilting, and then it can be like da, 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 when there's a big action scene.
Yeah.
Like when he drives the truck through the blockade. That's the only time it really gets.
It ramps
da,
up.
da, da.
Yeah.
It kind of captures
Rambo
the
time.
it kind of captures the epicness of the 80s movies music to me. Like I was just like, man, this is just straight 80s right now. I
That's
love it.
Jerry Goldsmith. That's the
Yep.
guy that gave us the Star Trek theme.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah,
Excellent.
that Rambo
Next
music is so damn.
Generation thing,
And
yeah.
every single movie, when I hear that, I get so crazy. I just like dun 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 dun.
Oh,
But then when you have those moments with just that solo trumpet, and it gives it like a taps type feel to it, like a somber. Oh man, so good. All right, the ratings out of 5 possible you digs, and you out there in the chat too. Let us know out of 5 possible you digs. Jelani, what do you give First Blood?
man, come on. 5. 5 because of rewatchability. I've watched it, like I said, 6 times so far.
You're not going to take away half a point because it was effective.
No, it's effective that it didn't scare the crap out of me. Don't hate, congratulate. But
I'll give it a 4.5 because of the rats.
yeah, I should take it down to 1. Yeah, I'll go for it. I'm kidding.
Stop, no.
5. 5. Now I might be saying this a lot during this review, but 5 because once again, rewatchability is awesome. The scene at the end seals the deal. Everything about this film, the music, the characters, the way that I didn't like those cops immediately, everything about it is just so great. Everything. This is Stallone's swan song performance. I love this film. So yeah, 5.
Swan song, jeez, man.
Swan song.
You don't like anything else that he's done since? What about over the top, man? Anyway,
I like
5 you digs. Perfect score.
Perfect score.
All right. What about you, Jake Strick?
Man, stop playing. 5 you digs. Let's go. 5 you digs for First Blood. This movie is freaking epic. And I loved it. I loved like we said, I loved all the substance that it brought. To me, like, I don't know if it probably is Stallone's best performance, but like, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. It's just more of like him and like what he's going through. And I mean, that's obviously a part of acting. So kudos to him because like he nailed it. And so 5 you digs, man.
Hell yeah. 5 and a 5. What about you, Brooks?
I was going to give some bullcrap rating, kind of throw you off, but I'll just go ahead and say 5 because
save some time.
I'll give it a 4.
We got 4 more
Really
to go.
shake everything up. But yeah, I love this movie, and I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said?
It's true.
I feel that.
I'm going to be right there with y'all and say 5. I was kind of going up and down. I was like, maybe I should go 4.5 because
No, you got to go 5.
I just wanted to kind of go. I don't like the song at the end.
love that song.
They all have
Oh,
that
come
cheesy
on.
song at the end.
Yeah.
It's like
The
every.
first
It's
three
like a
do.
tradition.
They should have put him in the other ones.
I really like First Blood.
Like, and I don't know. There's a part of me that
Right.
hates, like, freeze frames at the end of films.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with 5 because it is a great film. It's got substance. It's got something it's trying to say, and it says it very well. It's a very nuanced film. It's a very complex film. There's not an easy good guy and bad guy. It's kind of like all up in the air, and it speaks volumes. And I think it's one of Stallone's best performances. Even though he doesn't do much, when he does have those moments, he hits those moments. When he threatens the sheriff with the blade, when he breaks down with Troutman, the conversation he has with
You
Troutman.
can't just turn it off.
Oh man, when he's describing his friends, you know,
Yeah.
being all-
Oh, dude.
That whole shoe.
I'm trying to hold it together.
Hold it together.
breaks it down. So that's a perfect score across the board for PCP. In the chat, we got Herminia with 5, you digs.
Yeah.
Easy Reader with 4.5. Probably doesn't like the song or the rats. And Sam Fett says 5, you digs. It's my favorite of the series, but it's the one I watch the least. It hits a bit too close to home with my dad experiences after he returned to the States after Vietnam. This is a perfect movie.
Wow.
I don't know if you could make this movie any better at all. From the score to the way it looks and the way it's shot, it's beautiful. The stunts are awesome. The explosions are cool, and it all hits. So there. All right, Rambo: First Blood 2. Let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. This is the most awkwardly named action franchise in history.
I was just about to say I didn't even know it was called that. I just thought it was called Rambo Part 2.
First Blood Part 2.
Wait, that's what it's actually called?
Yeah.
What it's called.
Because the first one is just First Blood.
First Blood.
This is
I thought it
Rambo.
was called Rambo First Blood.
No, it's called First Blood.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah,
This
you're
is
right.
called-
It is very awkwardly titled.
Yeah.
So,
First Blood.
Rambo: First Blood 2.
Ah.
All right, First Blood 2, in my opinion, is not near as good as First Blood, but I do still like it. Before we did this revisit, I had remembered liking it probably the least in the franchise. I no longer think that. I think it's a pretty decent, fun 80s action movie that tries to make a point. It just hits you over the head with it, right? It's not near as subtle. And it's not like First Blood's subtle in what it's trying to say, but the way it's telling it is very complex, right? And First Blood 2 is much more direct, right? I like the idea that instead of being an anti-war film, it's not necessarily a pro-war film, but it's an anti-establishment film. It really paints the light very negatively on the people that make the orders. This dude sends Rambo. So Rambo's in prison. Troutman comes and gets him. He pulls him out of prison, and they're like, they want him to go and see if there are these POWs that are still being held by the Vietnamese, right? And they just want them to take photos of it. They don't want them to do anything. And then it turns out that it's all a sham. They just want confirmation that there are none, because they don't want to put resources back in there to get these dudes out and possibly reignite tensions and all this kind of stuff. And then it has a very strong moment at the end that's a bit cheesy when Rambo gives the speech when he's like, I just want what every other
It's nothing is over speech, you know.
Yeah.
But it's not terribly bad either.
Yeah.
So I think this movie still has substance, but it's not quite as nuanced, right? And it gets really cheesy. The violence could be gratuitous a little bit, maybe in First Blood. I don't think so, really. But in the second one, it starts getting that way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We're watching an action film. We want to see explosions. We want to see people get blown up. So in the first film, we talked about how basically he kills nobody. In the second film, he kills 75 people, which they also mentioned that he has 59 confirmed kills in the Vietnam War, which means in the 2 or 3 days in which Rambo 2 takes place, he kills more people than he killed in the entire Vietnam War.
Yep.
So that's pretty wild.
He's off the chain now.
He's off the chain. And
He's
First Blood
unhinged.
is definitely what more people think of when they think of the Rambo film.
The one the NES game was based on.
Yep.
Yeah, the NES.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was another game. The Genesis game was Rambo 3.
Can't make a game about Rambo First Blood.
I mean, right? Like, It would have been on the
It'd be
Atari.
so awkward.
It's a game where you don't kill anybody and you just kind of sneak around and terrorize them.
It would have been like that Friday the 13th game, but it would have been really bad because it's 1982, right? You know?
A First Blood game.
You
He's
make
just
a First Blood game. It's like Metal Gear Solid where you have to sneak around and you can't kill anybody.
He's like hunting a pig the whole game.
He hides under a box.
So this one was directed by George Cosmatos. And the initial screenplay was written by James Cameron, who wanted a little bit more humor, and there was going to be a sidekick, and it was going to be played by John Travolta, and Sly Stallone stopped that shit in its tracks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
I did not know
I
that.
didn't see a Travolta Stallone.
Hey,
team up.
It's also the movie in which Rambo falls in love.
Pop your nose with a rubber hose, Rambo.
The only love interest in all of these films,
Right?
and she immediately gets killed after
Literally.
they share their first kiss.
Yeah, they make out and then she dies, literally.
Yeah, so I think it's an okay film. So, Jelani, overall, what are your thoughts on First Blood 2?
I love this film. This was my first Rambo movie. This is my first ever Rambo movie.
So it's nostalgic.
This is nostalgia to me on so many different levels because first of all, I watched it with my dad, and my dad, we didn't know what to expect, but he was like, yeah, you might want to close your eyes for this because something might happen. If something scares you, you let me know, and you just close your eyes. And I was like, okay. And the whole movie, my eyes were wide open. This movie was great. He's a bowman. He uses those explosive arrows like no one's business.
He's kind of wasting them. He could kill some of these people with just a regular arrow, but he like that dude on the
He was
bridge.
like, I really want to kill this one guy.
Like, no,
You
this
got
guy
to.
deserves an
Yeah.
explosion.
No brainer.
Listen, this was an action. This is an action junkies like wet dream. It is amazing.
Back in the day, this is as good as it gets with action movies.
Yeah, it's 80s. It's this 80s action, and it is the definition of it. And it's so like he has a message that is ham-fisted. He is, and I wasn't
We
looking.
win this time, sir.
Yeah, I wasn't looking for substance. And I Murdoch, the guy that he was working for, I forget that guy's name, but he's Nash. I always call him Nash because he's
Is that Charles Napier?
Charles Napier.
Yeah.
And he's just an asshole. And I was like, you know when I knew he was evil when I watched the movie the first time? He didn't offer Rambo a drink. He was in the office and he's like, Rambo, da 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 da, and he's explaining the plans and stuff. And he was like, he told that guy, he was like, get me a cold drink. And I'm like, you aren't gonna offer Rambo a drink?
See, that shows that's a great moment too. It's a great subtle thing because first of all they got that Coca-Cola machine there. They got and they're
Coca-Cola
showing
classic.
they're very intentionally showing how sweaty everybody is and how crisp and clear that Coke is. By the way, they probably paid for that, right?
Right.
But the fact he doesn't give him, and it gives you the idea that this dude, he may be over there, but he's not over there.
He's not over there.
He's not.
He's a bureaucrat.
He could give a shit. And don't forget that one of his henchmen is the Cobra Kai guy.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, that eventually Mr. Miyagi.
I wanted, I really wanted him to fight that dude. And I was like, I couldn't wait. I was like, yeah, fight him. But yeah, that whole time that this movie for me, it is a nostalgia fest. It is everything I want out of Rambo. It's the first time I saw Rambo like as a hero character because he does a lot of heroic things in this film, and he does throughout the series. He only fights, and I've noticed throughout all the films, he fights for what's right, and it's a simple concept. But if someone's being done wrong, he takes care of it. He doesn't. No one is killed by Rambo that didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think of somebody that was. There wasn't.
Because really, when you come at Rambo, you kind of deserve it.
You kind of deserve to die.
I'm not saying that these people that were keeping POWs didn't deserve to die, but did that one dude who was just on patrol on the bridge deserve to get arrowed and blown up at the same time?
Yes.
100%.
How excessive that is, man. He's like blowing dudes up with explosive. Like, what the hell? Like, this is what I could do.
Kill of the series. Well, it's not even the best single. I will say That's not the best single kill of the series. But
Oh no.
oh no, there's one that's one
Do you
better.
think that's
Oh,
in
yeah.
3? Are you talking
Yeah,
about the one in
three.
3?
Don't ruin it yet.
We'll wait.
You know what I'm talking about, but yeah, but
Spoilers.
bruh, two. I liked the Ko, the girl he falls in love with and immediately dies after he kisses her. I think she would have been great in other films. I think she I forgot her name.
She's pretty badass in this movie.
I mean, he doesn't get
Julia
he doesn't
Nixon.
get out. He doesn't
Yeah.
get out of there unless she saves him.
Yeah.
Honestly, there
Yeah.
is no 3, 4, and 5.
Nope.
You're
But
He was
100%.
about to get murked.
Yeah. But it's such a great film. I'm sorry. It's this big, stupid, dumb action on top of a kind of poignant message about how we should get POWs and bring them home. And it was, I love that film. I'm sorry.
Dude, and it does have a heartbreaking moment. That moment when the helicopter shows up and then just leaves him, and that dude
yeah.
free.
And that POW guy, he looks pretty sad.
He does.
He's been
Oh, yeah.
through some shit.
They're all scrawny.
He's
Yeah.
betrayed. It feels like a betrayal, and it rightfully so. He should have killed Murdoch. I'm sorry, he should have killed him.
Jay Strick, what do you think about Rambo First Blood 2?
Rambo First Blood 2. Okay, so I need to say this before I give into my explanation. I 100% love all these movies, but for the sake of the Rambo-thon, we have to order these. So for this one, to me, it's kind of the weaker of the films. Not that I didn't like it, but as of watching them all from I watched all 5 in 2 days. I like this movie. I don't know. I just think if I had to nitpick things, which I guess we have to do since we're reviewing it. I don't know, but I wish they would have used the Karate Kid guy more. I feel like he wasn't really in it, and I was with you, Jelani. I felt like they should have fought each other. I want to see that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's over the top, but I didn't mind that. I thought it was
Over
good.
the Top was the arm wrestling movie.
Over the top, man.
Right. No, there's a lot of good moments in this too for me. So for me though, it's just a little bit weaker of the films for me. But I understand completely what everyone was saying about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Easy Reader points out the moment when the POW's mind is completely blown when he's told what year it is.
Yeah,
that was a good.
Oh yeah,
it's 1985. He's like,
so weren't they there for 3 years or something like that?
Oh, they're POW.
They've been there since the Vietnam War, right?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
they were POW.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But Rambo got him home. Murdoch was going to leave him to die. Punk ass.
Rambo gets him home because he steals that damn helicopter and just starts mowing people down with it. Just goes to town with that. Because now we also have the introduction of the new villains, the Russians. They're the villains in every 80s action movie, Obviously, in America, that's we were nearing the end of the Cold War, but we didn't know that. We were still, shit, look at the movies in the decade. Iron Eagle, Red Dawn, all kinds of shit like that, right?
This is the first one where he grabs the machine gun and just kind of goes off, right?
Yeah.
That's that's
like the iconic scene, like the one
that's
on the
iconic.
cover of the NES game, where just got him with the machine gun.
Yeah,
a lot of people have used that in movies going forward.
Yeah,
sure.
Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder,
Right.
basically doing his Rambo thing.
Yeah.
And the hair. Notice the hair is getting progressively longer.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not quite at peak. It's not quite at peak.
We're not in peak season yet.
And he's also bigger.
Yeah.
He's been pumping up. He kind of looks more like like a dude who's in decent shape in the first one, but in this one, he's like, oh no.
He's been in prison.
He's been busting rocks in that prison camp.
Yeah.
It does kind of dismiss any of the PTSD that he's experiencing. Maybe that's something he dealt with in prison. Maybe he learned meditation. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he found religion.
Well, he was back in the war zone, so it wouldn't affect him as much, because he was actually doing his thing.
Yeah. Speaking of doing his thing, Brooks, what do you think about First Blood 2?
I like this movie a lot. I mean, obviously, I don't like it as much as First Blood, but it does have a lot of the more iconic Rambo scenes, like a lot of the things that you associate with the character, came from this movie, which is kind of often the case with franchises like this. You know, the first movie establishes the character, and the second one, like, you know, kind of builds on him. And I really like this movie. Like, you know, I just like watching Rambo kill people, you know. And this movie is the first one where Rambo just goes in and, you know, and it's like, you know, these characters,
I wasn't
these,
expecting that.
the prison camp guys, they're so needlessly cruel and vile.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just feels so satisfying to see like Rambo kill them. It's like, especially after like they've been torturing him and shit.
Yeah.
And so like now he hits the woods and it's like, oh yeah, now these guys are dead shit.
That's kind of a theme now from this point forward.
Yep,
right?
Yeah. It is.
Because two is kind of when he starts killing, then 3, and then like for me when we got to 4, I was like not ready because I didn't even think of
4.
No, like I like was not because I'm just thinking it's still gonna be kind of like tamed like that, and I was just like, what just happened?
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that soon.
Stallone directed that one, but yes, he wanted that to happen.
One of the things I really like about this is that really great scene when they have Rambo, he's captured, and they have him radio in to the base, right? And they're trying to get him to say some shit or whatever, and he uses it as an opportunity because he already has figured out how to break out. Think about this, right? He's already figured out what he's going to do, but he's like, okay, I'm going to play along because Murdoch, he's like, Murdoch, I'm coming for you. Oh my god! And then the dude's face, and he's just like, and like Troutman's just got a shit-eating grin, you know. Troutman's like, hell yeah, brother.
Told you.
I'm here to save you from Rambo. But I love that. I do wish he would have fought the
I'll just
Karate
step
Kid
aside
guy.
for this guy. Fuck him.
Yeah.
He just hit him once, and I was like, "Oh, there should be more."
Oh man, he blew up all that shit though. He shot up all the computers and all that shit.
Show you.
Did he
That
shoot up?
that scene in Community, the paintball episode.
Yes.
Where Jet goes in the dean's office.
That's exactly what that is, man.
It really is. I never thought
exactly
about
what that is.
Yeah.
Did they make a point to show him shooting up the Coca-Cola machine? Because they really should have. I bet Coke was like, that's in the
he does.
contract.
I think
you're pretty sure does.
Computers and stuff. Like I don't know if the Coke machine. I don't know.
I know. I bet there was a deal. Coke's like, okay, they can't shoot up the Coke machine though. Coca-Cola
was in the
like that.
office. That was in the office. The computers were more outside.
But
Like everybody'd be like, "Why does Rambo hate Coke so much?"
He's hiding out, isn't he? He's like hiding because he's like, oh shit, he's back.
Yeah.
You know, this movie, it just furthers his badassness because all that happened at the end. All that happens, and he's like, you'll get another Medal of Honor. And he's like, nah. He just walks off into sunset. I'm like, dude, John Rambo, man,
he's awesome.
Another thing he does in every movie is he sustains an injury that he has to take care of himself.
Yes.
So in the first one,
I like also
he
the knife has that hidden compartment with the thread and needle in it.
Yeah, I was about to say in the first
really
one,
good idea.
In the first one, he sews himself up, right? But in the second one, that's the one. Isn't that the one where he like uses the gunpowder?
No.
Yeah.
I would mention that later. That's later.
Yeah, that's right. Because he got shot all the way through in that one.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to. I can't remember what 2 was. It the shoulder?
2, he was shot. Where was he shot? I don't know if he killed.
I can't remember.
No.
2 is the one where he gets the
Shot him
scar
somewhere
from the hot blade on the side of his
the hot
face.
blade, but the girl takes care of him.
Yes.
Crow takes care of him. She heals his wounds.
No, that's 5.
No, that's
dude.
2. I'm talking about the girl that dies, man.
This is running together for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She
watch all 5 of them in 2 days.
I literally watched like 5 of them in a span of 24 hours. Sorry.
But yeah, she takes care of him
too, and they do kind of run together, especially
they
2
do.
and 3.
Yeah.
2 and 3.
They have different settings. One's in the jungle, one's in the desert.
Maybe I did like 2. I don't know.
A lot of killing.
There's a lot of killing, a lot of excessiveness. You got any favorite kills in this one, Jelani?
Oh, the Arrow Man, the man that dies like standing, the main evil like Vietnamese soldier, and he's just standing there, and he's like, "What?" And he shoots that arrow. And he's like, and Rambo shoots the explosive arrow at him, and blows him to smithereens. There are pieces of him everywhere, and I'm like, "Yep, that was a good use of that arrow." I
think the Russian bad guy in this one's better than the one in 3. as well.
Yeah.
Like the 1 and 2 is he's a good villain, and he winds up getting that damn helicopter. I don't remember which one that is called, but it's with all the guns, and apparently it's a different helicopter they got, and they just put. Is it an Apache? A Tiger or Apache, something like that?
It was a Russian helicopter. I have no clue.
Yeah, but that's a badass thing.
I think the Russians named their vehicles after Native American tribes.
Yeah, maybe not. Who knows?
Spit snap.
I just like that they're trying. Let's throw the Americans off. Let's name it Apache.
Yeah.
Once again, you got Jerry Goldsmith doing the music, Navajo. And that's always fun. See, they all made a lot of money. This one, the budget was $25 million, and it made $300 million.
Oh wow! Jeez.
So
I believe it. I believe it.
I saw it.
I bet they're going to do a third one.
Probably. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We got some people out there that know what kind of ship it was. The Hind?
It's a
Hind?
Thank you, Colonel Angus. What's up, Colonel Angus?
Herminio. We know who would win the Pepsi Challenge in Herminio's household.
That's right.
Yeah, apparently.
Coke is it, son. Coke is it.
Coca-Cola
That's
Classic. All right. Speaking of Coca-Cola Classic, let's go ahead and rate this film. I think we've covered enough, right? Don't you guys think?
Yeah.
Out of 5 possible you digs, and you out there in the chat, let us know as well. What do you give this one, Jelani?
4.5. It's awesome, but it's not as poignant. I only drop it those points because it just feels like it should be a little, I don't know, a little bit more. There should be more drama attached to it, but I think it did what it came to do, and it was just Rambo being Rambo. It was like Rambo in his element. In fact, the rest of these films are Rambo in his element, because the first one sets up how badass he is. This shows it, and so I love this film. It hits all the nostalgia points for me anyway. I actually saw this in the theater as a kid. It freaked me out. My dad didn't take me to radar movies for a long time. But it's still a great film. And I would watch it again. I'll watch it again.
Hell yeah. What about you, Jay Strick?
It's just hard. It feels disrespectful to give any of the Rambo movies less than a 4. So I don't know. I just feel my heart wants to give it a 3.5, but I feel like I have to give it a 4 because Brooks kind of sold me on the 4 because there is a lot of iconic scenes that they use throughout the rest of the movies because of 2. So I'll give it a 4 because of that.
Okay. Fair enough. What about you, Brooksy?
I give it a 4 too.
Yeah.
It's no First Blood, but it's still a damn good action movie, and it's one of those movies I remember watching with my dad, because me and Dad always had our action movie thing. We used to bond over, we'd rent an action movie for us, and then some stupid drama movie for Mom and my sister. And this would be awesome. One of the ones that we still would be one of our movies.
That's awesome.
I love the Rambo movies.
Yeah, I love the Rambo movies too, and I have that same recollection of getting the video, going to the video store and bringing home a Rambo film and watching it with my stepdad. And I remember very specifically in Rambo 2, we were watching it one time, and he would constantly, as if he was in his head, and he was in the Navy, but in his head, he would be counting shots or something. And he'd be like, "That's bullshit. His gun's out of bullets." And I'd be like, "Is it? How do you know that?" He's like, "I counted them." There's only this many, blah, blah, blah. I didn't see him change a clip or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I'm right there with you two down there. I'm 4.0. This one aged better for me when I had last seen, last time we watched all the Rambo films, which at the time was just 4. I thought it was the weakest out of all of them. But on the rewatch, I think it's pretty solid. It's got some cheese to it, but it's got classic Rambo cheese. It could be a little bit more poignant, nuanced, like Jelani said. But it is iconic, like Brooks and Jay Strick were saying. It's a movie I really do like. I really enjoyed watching it. So yeah, 4. So that's 4.5 and 4 and 4 and 4 for an average of 4.179994321.
So the 9th hour.
This is the movie that set up the animated series too, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
Yeah, I
then
think
the
it did-
cartoon like
Oh,
take
yeah.
place after
Because the
Rambo
girl, I
2.
think, is
It's
a
one
I
of
didn't
those.
know there was an animated series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where there's
Yeah.
like a rated R movie that's not intended for kids that kids really like. So they're like, well, let's make an animated series and an action figure line.
Yep.
I don't have.
It's funny because the opening is like it's like the colonel in the helicopter calling out, "Rambo, your country needs you," and like Rambo's like lounging on a raft or something, and he like gets up and he gets on the ladder and climbs up in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Good.
It was hilarious.
Video games, action figures, which I don't have any Rambo action figures, but definitely something if I ever saw them, I would, for a good price, I'd
Yeah,
definitely
man,
get
a
them.
good like
Sure
John
thing.
Rambo figure.
Even the NECA figures are expensive now, so yeah, it's hard to get them.
Yeah, I would love them. And they're done like the old school, like A-Team figures and the Karate Kid figures and shit. I used to have Karate Kid figures.
Was there ever a comic book?
Not that I recall, but
They're
there were
probably
so many licensed books,
Yeah.
especially at
Yeah.
Marvel and DC in the 80s.
They probably did
Who
like
knows?
a movie adaptation at some point. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Let me see.
I
Rambo
was
comic
curious
book.
because it's like they did everything else. You figured they might have a comic
Oh
book.
yeah, they did Rambo comics.
of course.
It was
Is he like
Blackthorn Publishing,
Hmm.
1988. So that's Rambo 3 era.
He's like a teenager.
No. But yeah, they did them. They did them. Yep.
Interesting.
Well, I'm
Wow.
gonna have to. That kid looks nothing like Sylvester Stallone. Holy cow! All right. Anyway,
You
let
put on
me,
the
let me
screen?
stop getting distracted.
Yeah, I got everyone sidetracked.
So there was a Rambo comic book. So that's interesting. All right, out there in the chat, we had some answers on their you digs. Herminio says 5 you digs for First Blood 2. Damn.
Okay.
Cool. I would have given it 5 as well, but
Easy Reader says 4 because of the poo pit scene. Yeah, the
oh
poo pit
yeah,
scene.
I forgot about that.
it's in the pew. Yeah,
4
it's rough.
solid you digs from Chamorro Cinema. Hell yeah. And everybody's liking that
yeah,
animated series. I haven't seen that animated series in forever. I remember when I worked at a movie stop, I took some of the DVDs and we would play them on a Saturday.
Nice.
Yep. Aliens was almost released as animated. They had a toy line. I'm
Yeah.
surprised they never did release that. But yeah, RoboCop was another one. That was a rated R film that they like, screw it. This is for kids, right? We can, they like it anyway.
I remember the first time I watched RoboCop, I was like the scene where he gets killed.
It's so
I'm like,
gross.
damn.
Yeah.
That was kind of traumatizing, to be honest with you, as a kid.
Acid and then get hit by that car too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Rambo is. I
Which,
mean,
by the way,
it's
perfect
nuts.
segue because good old Red Foreman, who was
Oh,
in
yeah.
RoboCop, is in Rambo 3,
Rambo 3.
which we'll be talking about after a very short intermission because I got to take a piss. I'll be right back, y'all.
Man, all these
We could just go off on that part right there. What the hell was he always bald? Even in like the 80s?
yes, Red Foreman has always been bald.
I was just like, did he ever have full set of hair?
I don't think I've ever seen him with like hair, like on top of his skull. No, never.
That was like the first thing I said when I was like, what? He didn't even have
Kurtwood
hair then? It was like 40 years
Yeah.
ago, man.
Kurtwood Smith. He is the man, and like I'm glad, and I know we're not talking about the movie for real just yet, but I'm glad that he wasn't a villain in this movie. I was expecting him to be like I've been working for the rest of the whole time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was really waiting for it. I was like, oh yeah, Kurtwood Smith, come on, man. Because I hadn't seen this movie in years. And I was like, yeah, man. I know you double cross because Rambo's been double crossed already like twice. So he
Right.
really, yeah, he's really gotta like get him. And I was like, oh, it doesn't happen. Oh, poop. Oh, poop it.
Going back to the Rambo toys, I like low key want like a ton of Rambo toys now. I feel like they should put something out. I guess they didn't do anything for Last Blood. I don't
No,
know.
they didn't make toys for Last Blood. Not that they didn't make toys for Rambo. If they made toys for Rambo 4 with the 50 cal, I'd be all over that. But
I'm just saying like a reprint set or something. I don't know. Because you were saying the old ones are like expensive, right?
they're expensive as crap, man. And like the NECA toys, the NECA came out with a version of it. I think it was SDCC exclusive figures, and they're pretty expensive as well. as far as the limit of how many they made. So, I mean, they're everywhere, and there's a red video game version of Rambo as well. That's pretty cool. I'm thinking
Like
about
the cartridge is red.
Yeah, but well, his pants are red, and his it's like the video game.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh, you mean a figure that's like from the video game? Okay.
Yeah, the figure from the video game. And they have that set up, and he's all red, and he's got this. Of course he's got his machine gun, and he's got his knife, and he's got a machete. I think it's got a machete. Whatever he had in the game is what he has in that box set, and I'm like, I want that too, but I can't pull triggers on Rambo figures, man. They're too expensive for me. That's too rich for my blood.
All right, now we're skipping ahead to 1988. We're going to be talking about Rambo 3. Rambo 3 was the one that I remember the most from when I was a kid. I was like second, third grade when this movie was out.
This would have been the new Rambo movie when we were kids.
Yes, yeah. I vividly remember this one. It's written by Sylvester Stallone and Shelton Litch, and it was directed by Peter McDonald. And apparently McDonald and Stallone had a lot of butting of heads over this film. McDonald wanted it to be a little bit more humorous, and kind of, since kids were kind of getting into it, the kind of making it, a little bit like kind of what Terminator 2 did for Terminator. Like, it took itself just as serious, but it added some humor to it, right? And there's a very stark difference between Terminator, right? So Rambo 3, they're intending to do that, but Stallone is not the best, especially at these days, of delivering comedy. Some of those scenes made it through. The glow stick scene, what is it? What does it do? Turns blue. Like, that could have been funny delivered in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So apparently they were about that. At the time, they were really big in America about supporting Afghanistan against the invasion of the Russians. Now, Russia had already pulled out of Afghanistan right before this movie came out, so it kind of took some of that punch away. But I think over time, it's made the movie rather ironic. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
don't you think?
Yeah, just a little bit, especially when it ends and it's like, here's to the gallant people of Afghanistan.
The brave fighters of Afghanistan.
They're gallant.
And originally they even referred to them as the and they made them change it, but I cannot remember. What is it? The Mujahideen or something like that? Mujahideen or something like that, right? Oh yeah, my bad. I didn't hear you, man. When we're all talking over each other, I can't fucking hear. Anyway, so Rambo 3 is one that I loved growing up as a kid. This was the one that spawned the Genesis game. I think it was a Genesis game, or it was some kind of game, but it doesn't matter. What was I saying? Oh, Jerry Goldsmith came back to do the music. Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna. In this one, Crenna comes to get Rambo. They find him. He's still in Thailand, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't he right?
Yeah,
and he walked away.
Yeah, he's like stayed in Thailand. Yeah, he's like stick fighting. And so they come, him and Red Foreman, the dipshit from RoboCop. And so they that is the character's name in 70s show, right?
No, it is. I just like that way, like not saying his real name. He's just Red.
Well, I don't know his real name. That's just
Kurtwood Smith. I'm saying it
again. Dude, I can't hear you when we're all talking. Anyway.
Good grief.
What? Exactly. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Anyway, Rambo 3, iconic. I remember it. This is the one where not only is Hugh Jackman, not only is Sylvester Stallone jacked, his hair is jacked. This is where it's like peak Rambo mullet. He's got that iconic scene where he's tying the bandana and you just see his back muscles just like, he's like, he lifted so hard, he created new muscles. I swear. Some of those muscles don't exist. He is so sweaty, so big, so glistening. I just remember being a kid and just being like, Rambo, holy shit. Rambo's dope. In hindsight, this is the one that I think is probably one of the weaker films in the franchise because it's very humorless and they're trying so hard in certain scenes, but it doesn't quite capture, and they have a kid in it, but it doesn't quite work. And it's like, you can see where they wanted the movie to go a certain way, but I think the struggle between McDonald and Stallone is evident and kind of hurt this film in the long run. So it's a movie that I do remember fondly and really liking. But overall, like, it's the least memorable out of all the ones we just watched, at least in my opinion. So that's what I think about it. I think it's okay veering down, which last time we did this, I loved it. So it's just also just your state of mind, I guess. So Jelani, what do you think about Rambo 3?
Yeah, I really agree. This had a lot of action in it, but it's the weakest to me. And this is a rewatch, and it's like, I don't know how to explain it. He tries to. It's like Rambo's trying too hard in this film. He's trying too hard to be too much, and there's no double cross in the film, as I was saying before. There's nothing to really make Rambo like be angry, other than he was with some Afghani people playing with a sheep, and then they attacked the village, and it didn't hit home like it should have. And I can't stand that kid. Yeah. Watching that kid be there, I want to join you too. I'm like, go home. My parents are dead. I don't care. Go home.
What is that accent?
Like, yeah, and he's just like,
that's just like generic Aladdin villain.
Yeah, like what?
So like, I don't care about this kid. He is just like a waste of time and effort. And
I don't think you like movies with kids in it, though, Jelani. Historically,
yeah, I like Sandlot. Love Sandlot.
Well, like, but I'm talking about movies where like
with a kid,
like where it's an action franchise, and then all of a sudden they add in a kid. Jelani hates that shit. I know.
And he gave the necklace that he got from the girl to the kid.
I thought that was kind of. I didn't like that either.
His neck got bigger, dude. He couldn't wear it. His neck got bigger. He couldn't wear it.
Yeah, it's like it kind of looks like he was straining a bit on him.
Yeah, he's
it's like a necklace on her, but it's like a choker on him.
Yeah. And he's just like, "Here, kid, you had my necklace." Well, and I really want to be like,
my brain for you.
Yeah.
I knew by the time we got to Rambo 3, it'd be really fun.
And it'd just be like, he just gave some rando kid this necklace, and I'm like, "Here, keep this forever. You're gonna be dead like tomorrow anyway." I hate to say that. But that kid's dead. But I'm like, wow, okay, whatever. I do like a lot of scenes in this film, though. I mean, it has its moments. There's what was it? Oh yeah, of course, like we mentioned before, the best kill in the movie, best kill in all the single kill in all the Rambo films is when he fights the Russian soldier and he wraps the rope around his neck and then kicks him down that hole. It's like 3 times of death. It's like he could have died by falling. Then he gets hung while he has a grenade on his and it's pulled. So he falls, breaks his neck, and then it's over. And I'm like, oh, that was such a satisfying kill. And it's so cathartic because I mean that guy could have been anybody. That guy could have been the helicopter guy in First Blood. And I'd have been like, yes, that's how you die. And it was so sweet. And like the best heel scene is with the gunpowder.
Yeah, that's gunpowder
right through. And then he puts the gunpowder in him and he like lights the gunpowder and you see the flame come out of both holes. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. But other than those scenes and the helicopter scene and all the helicopter scenes were clean, but it's just no substance. I mean, and I want big dumb action movie, but I think 2 is better than this. 2 is a lot better than this for the dumb big action scenes. Yeah. And I think that Rambo 3, once again, like I said, is kind of the weakest of the group for me. So I'm glad he got to get some done, but that damn kid, that stupid dumbass kid, I'm out. Screw that kid. He got shot and had to leave Troutman. They had to leave Troutman there because the kid got shot. I'm like, fuck that kid. This stupid kid should have stayed in there.
Oh yeah, because in this film, Rambo refuses to go, and he's like, "My war's over."
Yep.
And then Troutman gets captured, and so then he gets Red Foreman to send him in. They want to know in the chat if you like Short Round, Jelani.
No, hell no. I hate Temple of Doom.
I love Temple of Doom and Short Round.
No time for love, Dr. Jones. Get your butt out of here. Hate that kid. There, we're done.
You have no heart, sir.
Speaking of having no heart and hating that kid, Jay Strick.
Jelani sounds like a damn Scooby-Doo villain. I would have got away with it if there wasn't
Those
that,
meddling kids.
that damn kid and his
Kids.
pesky goat.
We're gonna pull off his mask.
stupid.
It's gonna be John Holshoe.
Hey guys,
Kids,
I was just
animals.
playing Jelani the whole time.
Oh God.
Stupid
Okay.
kid.
What about you, Strickland?
Yeah, it's like I said on the last one, it's hard to dislike any of these movies. 2 and 3 are interchangeable for me, but I honestly, I guess I just have to disagree with both of you. I like 3 better than 2. I don't know, man. Something about seeing him with that long ass hair, and he's just a badass with the sticks. And like, even when he's fighting that dude, he's so jacked, and that other dude's jacked too. But like, Sylvester Stallone's just like way more jacked for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, it set the tone for the movie. Yeah, the kid is super annoying. Like,
Steroids. That's
it's
the-
whatever. Like, yeah, man. No, he worked hard for that. You take that away from him? No, yeah, it was definitely steroids.
I think he admitted to using it. I know
Yeah,
he's admitted
I
to
think he
using
did.
HGH in these later years, right?
Yeah.
For the 4th one and the
For the
Expendables.
Rockies. He did it for the Rockies too, I think. No, but there is, for me, 3, there's so many cool moments, just like when he goes to rescue Troutman and the helicopter scenes that you said. There's a lot of cool moments for this for me, so that's why I really liked it.
One of my favorite moments when involving Troutman is when they're torturing him, trying to get information. They're like, I don't even remember what they're looking for, but they're like, where's the blah, 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 where's the detonator or whatever, right? And he's just hanging there. And it cracks me up every time. He goes, I'll tell you where it is. It's in your ass.
That's exactly what I expect him to say too.
Yeah, it just cracks me up. I don't know why. Speaking of in your ass, Brooks, what do you think about Rambo 3?
Brooks.
I like Rambo 3, but like, I don't like it as I'd say it's probably pretty neck and neck with 2 in a lot of ways. But I would say I'd probably put 2 above it.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of, it has a good action. I like the it goes more into the camaraderie between Rambo and the Colonel.
The Colonel,
Like,
yeah.
you really get that feeling, like, that they're not just superior and
Soldier
is like,
Yeah.
they're war buddies. They die for each other. Like Rambo has no interest in it, but then when he hears that Troutman's been captured, he's like, well, now I gotta go and get that son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch,
Like,
man.
he's dragging me back into this war, but
Where is he?
what can you do? Just leave him hanging?
You just gonna go just you? Just me.
That's relationship.
That's like an important thing in like these movies about soldiers and things, is the camaraderie between people who have fought together in wars is a very deep bond. It's like, they would do just about anything for each other.
And I'm sure he views Troutman as the man who saved his life, stopped him on this path of destruction that he was on, because that was not going to end in any good way. Like, literally in the book, Troutman had to kill him. But in the movies, he saves his life. And we get an alternate reality version of Rambo. And not the one where he eats at the diner and leaves, has a very nice egg and cheese sandwich, and then goes about his day until he hits the next town, which has giant spiders. Because for a while there, they were testing the idea of doing Rambo 5 as a sci-fi thing, and he has to go up against a giant spider monster.
Man, where'd all these spiders come from?
Dude, I would be totally into that
The
one.
killing begins.
Dude, I'm down.
Get this knife to kill these spiders, man.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hate on Rambo 3 because I do love it so much from being a kid. And dude, he is so jacked, and how iconic. Like when I think of Rambo in my head, I think of Rambo 3 Rambo.
Mhm.
With the Jimmy hair.
Hair.
My dad had that hair. And yeah, really. It was probably even bigger. But yeah, he was a rocker. But
Wasn't he in like a hair metal band or something?
yeah, he was. He was in one of those. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was in one of them hair metal bands. And then I remember when they slowly changed into. He changed bands, and it became more grungy in the early '90s. Still had that hair though. I know he cut his hair after Metallica did though.
Mhm.
That was kind of like the last. Well, it's time to let this go. But he didn't let it go. He still kept the hair a little bit in 4, and completely got rid of it in 5. Anyway, back to Rambo 3. I think Troutman's great. I like that camaraderie there, like you were talking about. That's something that's really built up very well. The message is just, it's cool today because it is ironic and it's one of those fun things to poke at and be like, oh, look at this. You know, this is a great way to show how a nation's policies against another can completely change based on certain interests, you know? And the Russian villain.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying that little kid turned into Osama bin Laden.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I don't like the kid. There was never any chemistry there. It felt ridiculous. The jokes were so forced and they were never funny. This movie would have benefited from being a little bit more loose and free and fun.
Right.
Like you know, and I'm not saying that the Rambo movie should be fun. Do you know what I'm saying? But
he should be more into his role to where he can be funny.
In 3, it should have been for sure, I think.
Yeah.
Especially because there was a cartoon, there was an action figure line, there were comic books. Yeah. You needed to like kind of dumb it down a little bit for the audience. But then again, if they would have made a real brutal and raw Rambo 3 that was amazing, we'd be like, thank God they didn't do that. Dumb it down.
Right.
But this movie felt like they were dumbing it down, but they got stuck in this nowhere zone in between both types of films. And this should have been more like a Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Right? And less like a Terminator 4. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Terminator 4, so I don't.
So Salvation.
I missed out on all the Terminators after 2.
3 is good.
So, yeah, I mean, but Rambo 3 you like Terminator 3?
I like Terminator 3.
I was surprised.
I like the last
That's
part.
interesting.
Well, I mean, we're gonna get into it. I mean, I like it because
I think Rambo 3 is better than Terminator.
Would Terminator 4 be Salvation?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Salvation. Because Rise of Machines, Salvation, then the other one, Genesis, and then the last one. They were crap.
I don't even remember what it
Terminator Dark Fate.
Terminator Last Blood.
So Rambo 3,
Sorry, but yes.
I think the Russian villain is kind of weak in this one.
Yeah.
It doesn't have near as much charisma as the guy that was in 2.
Colonel Zayson.
Yeah. He was kind of a weak villain. Nothing very memorable about this movie except for except for Stallone's look and a couple lines here and there. This is that. What's your favorite moment here, Jay Strick? It's one of those humor moments that didn't land quite right.
No, I liked. I mean, when he has to go and rescue Troutman, he just. Well, now that you're making me think about it, maybe it isn't one of the stronger ones.
Well, go for it though. I mean, I want to bring this up.
No, it's just like I don't know him going and I don't know this whole mission of having to get him. I just like that idea of it, so I thought they did well with it.
No, what I'm talking about is his one-liner.
We're talking
about the humor. No, that's no. Okay, you said that you really thought. I remember you telling me that you thought the movie had some humor moments that it was trying hard to do, but it never landed.
Yeah.
And it's the scene when he gets all toasted up, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. Sorry. Watching all 5 of these together, they really do kind of run together for me.
Yeah, they do.
So, I love that scene. Are they in the cave?
I think so. He's rescuing Troutman.
And Troutman's like, "Oh, Rambo, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm just burnt."
Well done. He goes,
well done. Yeah, that's what it was.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
But it doesn't land.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
His jokes fall flat. It's just not worth it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's just go ahead and rate this one. Out of 5 possible you digs, and you out there in the chat join along. What do you give Rambo 3, Jelani?
This is a 3.5 for me. I say that because that damn kid, and it's a forgettable Rambo film. After I saw it again, I watched all of them multiple times, but for some reason this time when I watched it and like put it all together, I was like, this is kind of weak, and I was kind of bored actually because it was just kind of the same kind of wear trope. It's okay, and I'm not dissing it at all by any means because I love Rambo. I mean, Rambo in this film is jacked. He is doing his job. Everyone that dies deserves it. The helicopter scene is pretty cool where he plays dead and then shoots him. It's awesome how he kills the guy with a tank. You know,
Yeah.
he's moved on. He's gone the John McClane route, but at the same time, it's not as strong for me as First Blood. It will never be, and I think 2 is superior to 3 on this one.
Yeah, and the one thing that it is superior to 2 on is the kill count. The kill count rises in this one to 115.
Yep.
Wow.
So,
He's a murderer.
he is a little bit of a murderer in this one.
Yeah.
Jay Strick, what do
Speaking
you
of
think
murder.
out of I wasn't going to go that route. Speaking of murder. Jay Strick, what do you give out of 5 possible you digs? What do you give Rambo 3?
I'm going 4 you digs because
4.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Solid 4. I feel for me personally, I just feel disrespectful giving anything less than a 4. These Rambo movies for me are like so freaking good. I know. And like, so I don't know if I'm giving it a 4 because like it really is. What's this 88? Rambo 3?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the last one of the kind of him being like super jacked like that era. Because the next one comes like 20 years later, right?
Yeah, 20 years later.
And so
He's
I'm kind of
probably like his
surprised
hair
they
was
didn't.
starting to get less good. So he's like, well,
Mhm.
just wait for like 10, 20 years, and then I'm gonna have an excuse not to have the hair.
Well, he said he didn't want to do any more sequels, so that's
Did
why
he?
he stopped for all
Yeah,
that
and
time.
if you notice, he
Okay.
stopped doing sequels in the 90s until for some reason they did Rocky 5.
Yeah, which is
The
not my
worst Rocky film.
The
Is
stupid
that
street
is
fight.
that the Tommy gun one?
That was Tommy Gunn. He fought in the street. I hated that film. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with
I
That
wanna
guy
see
was like
that
a
once.
son to him. He
Ugh.
betrayed him.
Whatever.
to tie
care.
this one up.
Stupid kid.
I lost my thought.
Sorry.
To tie this one up,
No,
you
you're good.
said, okay.
You're good. 4 you digs. You're
For
up,
you
Brooks.
digs. You like this one better than the rest of us, I think. What about you, Brooks?
Yeah.
I'd give it 4 too, because it's real close to 2 for me. You know, those two I can see them being kind of interchangeable. But I do think 2 is like slightly better, but it's still an enjoyable watch. You know, it's still Rambo, so
Yeah.
Okay.
you can't really complain.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with Jelani and go 3.5 on this one. I think it's kind of one of the weakest ones. I think that it tries to have substance and it just, I don't know. It just doesn't really carry it across. I mean, that stuff's fine. Like, I'm down for Rambo trying to rescue Troutman and helping out the plight of these people. I'm all for that, right? But it just never nailed its tone that it wanted to capture. It didn't know if it wanted to be Rambo 2 or if it wanted to be like a little
First
bit more
Blood 3?
funny.
Mm.
What?
Nothing. Never mind.
Or if it wanted to be like something like Terminator 2 or something, maybe.
Mm.
You know, I think that maybe if they would have just spruced in a little bit of like effective humor here and there, they could have punched this up and made it something more spectacular. But yeah, so me and Jelani at 3.5, you two at 4.
Mhm.
And Herminio says 4 you digs for Rambo 3. And Easy Reader says 3. It took me out of Rambo movies, but I think I'm going to have to see 4 and 5 after hearing you guys. We'll just wait for this because we're about to get to it. 20
we're
years
about
later.
to spoil the crap out of it. We're spoiling the crap
20
out of it.
years later, all of a sudden, they finally give us a movie called Rambo.
Was it going to be called John Rambo at first?
It's called John Rambo in certain titles,
Yeah.
but it is Rambo.
Yes.
This is Rambo.
This one was written by
Our
Stallone.
title, our American title was
Yeah, this one is directed by Stallone. And
Oh, cool.
Yep, this one's actually directed by him. It's 2008. It takes place in Burma. He's trying to spotlight and highlight the terrible things going on there.
Mm.
So when this movie first came out, I remember being like, oh, in Tomorrow's Cinema with a 3 you digs for 3. So when Rambo, the 2008 one, first came out, we were kind of nervous. We're like, oh, man, this is a bad idea. Stallone should not do a Rambo film now. I'm really glad he did, because I'm going to tell you guys this. I love 2008's Rambo. I love this film. I think it's the closest in tone to the first one, though it's not the first one, but
Right.
it has a message, just like they all do. It has a message, but the way that message is given across is incredibly well done. Incredibly. It's got the highest kill count of all the films at 254. And even that, I think that's kind of low.
Yeah. He murdered
the violence in this movie is different than all of the others. All of the others, it leads you to this idea of like, you can't wait until Rambo gets to just kill these fuckers. And you kind of cheer along with it, kind of like you would in a Friday the 13th or a Halloween movie. Right. And Rambo, it's so brutal, so visceral, so raw. It feels so real. It's like they went a Saving Private Ryan approach, and it's very gory. And if in all the other movies, it's all about explosions, in this one, it's all about body parts and guts flying out, and bringing you to the reality of what it could feel and look like. And also the villains in this one, no big speeches, no plans for world domination.
I think they're the most vile villains in any Rambo movie.
Very effectively
they're
done.
just so cruel and like they don't like. Ugh, there's gross.
Exactly. The villains are just, and so you are waiting for them to die. But even when Rambo's doing it, you're feeling it. You get what I'm saying? You're feeling it.
Yeah.
This is a man who has given up his war multiple times, has tried to conquer the war within multiple times, and now he's stuck with the idea. And the basic premise of this is there's a group of American missionaries that are trying to go in and send in aid to Burma, medical aid. And it's a thing that people do. And Rambo is basically trying to tell him, you're naive. There's a great moment in there where he goes, because they want Rambo, because he's just living in Thailand. They want him to take him upriver into Burma, right? And so there's a great moment where he's like, are you bringing in any weapons? And they go, of course not. And he goes, then you're not changing anything. And this is a man who has seen so much and experienced and gone through so much. He has now completely given up on humanity because of what he sees. And it's real. And you do get this moment too, where you're like, well, good, because those missionaries are going to get what's coming to them. Like they're going to be proven wrong. But when it happens, man, this stuff is so brutal and sad and tragic. Like this whole movie, you just like, oh my goodness, it's hard to watch this film. I think probably more so than First Blood, because this one, it's a very violent, brutal film that you don't cheer for the violence. But there are at the end when certain people get got, you're kind of happy with it. But it's done and it's showing, it's starting to pick up that nuance again. It's starting to pick up the idea of what's the difference between Rambo and some of these other guys. Obviously there's a difference, but as far as the methods and the brutality of it, Rambo's the most badass, I think, in Rambo 4, in my opinion. I freaking love this film. What do you think, Jelani?
Duh, I agree 100%. Everything you said, I am going with. Rambo is my favorite Rambo film. Like, as far as where the character has gone, it's kind of like, I have to describe this with John McClane. John McClane in Live Free or Die Hard. It's kind of like that. It's like you have been through so much that you know what to do when a situation like this arises. And he has gone through so much to where he has stopped. And the beginning of the film is very, very visceral, like you said.
When they're showing the real footage,
showing the actual real footage of people in Burma dying, which is now called Myanmar because of political things and whatnot. But it's brutal. It shows you death in like the beginning of the film and how violent that culture is. Because of that civil war, and it's terrible. They destroyed villages. These people die like every day, and they were telling the atrocities of rape and murder and the games they were just playing with people. They threw landmines in their rice fields and made them run back and forth in the rice fields until one of them finds the mine.
And if you make it to the end, you get shot.
You get shot. And it's so messed up. And the way the missionaries want to go in and help, which I understand, but the whole time I'm like, I hated those missionaries. I was so mad at them. Every one of them, they made me mad.
They had this like holier than thou pacifism thing going.
We're just gonna go in there and help them. I'm like, do you know where you're going?
We're gonna rape the shit out of us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, what do you want him to do?
Yeah. He was like, is gonna shoot him, and like the dude's like, after he saves their life, after they threatened to rape his wife or take his wife off of that boat, and God knows what else to her, they're like, he kills them, and then the missionary's like, yeah, I'm gonna still report you because murder is murder. I was like,
Yeah, but that dude, his whole story comes full circle.
it does.
Mhm.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
mad.
'cause
Listen,
he ends up
don't
doing
get
a
me
little murder himself.
Yeah, there's a certain
he
thing
does
about
murder.
civilized society and the way we think that we are, but human nature trumps all that when it's all said and done, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Rambo's trying to. That's the point.
Yeah, and I get it. No, I understand it completely. I love this entire movie from beginning to end. He actually convinced Julie Benz is in this film.
Yeah.
From Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She
Oh wow, yeah, that was her.
Darla.
This
Yeah.
is Darla. She actually like convinces Rambo to go in because it's the right thing to do, and it was the right thing to do at the time. But he kind of knew where it was going, what it was going to do, and the fact that he goes in with that group of mercenaries, and the mercenaries don't want him there because they have no clue who this guy is, and then he shows them.
I like the mercenary group in this movie.
Yeah, the mercenary group was good. He
Dude.
needs a group like that.
The leader of that group, the British guy who has just got to stick up his ass for no reason. Like they're all just okay. When you first are introduced to these guys, they're just on the boat and everybody's just chilling. You're like, okay, they're just chilling. Then all of a sudden he's just like, he never goes. He's always at 11. He never goes down. He just
I'm boring you, mate.
He's like, he's just like, God damn, this shithole fucking sucks. Remove this fucking boat. You got a fucking problem with me, mate. Like, oh my God. Even when like he starts getting like he gets effed up.
Better. Yeah, he does.
But even when he gets effed up and he's like, you fucking bastard, you come to me, you come here, you son of a and he's just like, oh, you son of a bitch. Like, it's nice to see that character didn't break, but I just love how ridiculously hard ass he is at all moments. He's like, I gotta get fucking home. Yeah. I've got I got a wife and a kid I gotta fucking pay for. It's just fucking loved it. Anyway, speaking of really irate and uptight British guys, Strickland, what do you think about Rambo?
Hello, governor. Dude,
who the fuck wants to live here? This shithole is hot as fuck. It smells bad.
Am I boring you, mate?
You just move your ass and you stay on the boat. You stay with the fucking boat.
I kept thinking he's gonna hit him at some point, right? But like he just gives him the look the whole time.
Oh, he puts an arrow in his face.
I think dude realizes that. Rambo could kick his ass. I think that he
He changed over real quick. That arrow turned in his face, and he was like, "Yeah, I guess we should let him have it." Yeah. So he was awesome. That dude, I like the British dude. He's just a big jerk.
Yeah, for sure.
He's just a big jerk, and he was this big dumb jerk, and he was a mercenary. So I mean, it fits his character. So big ups. Anyhow, sorry.
No, you're good, buddy. The Rambo movie, this one is phenomenal because like not to like change the tone up, but like it really does capture a lot of what's going on in the world, even to this day. I've experienced a little bit of it. I've been to a couple of third world countries and not seen it to obviously that extent, but just seeing real poverty like that, and it's frustrating because it's just sad, and you feel for it. And this movie does a really gut wrenching, I won't use the word beautiful, but just like punches you right in the stomach, and you feel it. Like I said that comment earlier about 4 just really changes everything for me, because it did, man. Like I felt that, man. It hit me in the soul, and it's funny because like even the soldiers are like, they're dicking around. They're like, we got to go in here and do this for the money, and then they get there and they're kind of like, dude, this is not good.
Yeah, they see
this is wrong.
Village, this massacred village, and they get like queasy about it.
Yeah,
like these are like hardcore mercenary types,
right?
Man. You sure they've seen some shit.
It's brutal, man. I mean, they tackled so many different things. You think about even that scene with the main villain dude, where he brings a little boy in his room. I'm just sitting there like my stomach is in knots because I'm like, man, this stuff is going on, and like you feel really bad. But Rambo, man, in this movie, oh my goodness! And even so, we'll pick on the hair. Like the hair looked a little goofy when it wasn't, but when it was wet, it felt like old John Rambo.
Yeah.
But not even about that. Just like to me, he still even captured with the fourth one, because the fifth one we can get into that later. He still captures that epicness to me from the first three, and I love that because it's 20 years later, and he's still just a bad. And even I love that scene too, where they're like, "No, you wait here on the boat, mate." And I'm like, "You idiots! You need to take John Rambo with you. You want him with you." So it's a phenomenal movie, man. It really is.
That's a great moment too, because you can just see it in John's eyes where he's like, "Okay, I'll just wait for you guys to get."
Right.
Yeah, it's like
you start running.
It's like you guys when the cop drops him off on the bridge, like and he just walks back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, I was saying that First Blood's probably one of his best performances, so is this film. So is this film. This film is amazing. And this dude's in his 60s when he's making this film.
Really?
Sylvester Stallone's in his 60s making this film.
He was crushing.
It's funny because you said you were I never saw this movie, so you said you were shocked when this came out, like you're kind of worried about it. I kind of felt the same way about the Rocky, because Rocky Balboa came out like a few years before this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really liked that one too. Like I thought he did a really good job in both these.
I haven't seen that one.
It's really good. Check it
That
out.
one's really good.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, and that's kind of what set the stage for this, and had the idea that he could still pull it off, that he could do it, and he did. He did it. He pulled it off physically, and he pulled it off because he's learned a lot about acting, and he knows what his strengths are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have a scene like he does at the end of First Blood, but there is a torturedness behind his eyes in this entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that he did, especially for his age, and the fact that he directed it, it's got a different feel and look cinematically than the other three. Because of the way it's shot, it feels so shockingly real and brutal, and it's incredibly effective at the message and the feeling and the tone that it's trying to convey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his Rambo's best bow work is in this movie.
It is.
The way he is with the bow and arrow in this movie is ridiculous. And they don't have to blow up. You know what I'm saying? He kills
make a guy blow
so many damn people in this film, dude. He rips a dude's throat out.
Yeah.
Like he becomes like an animal. Oh my goodness. Speaking of becoming an animal, what about you, Brooks? What do you think about Rambo?
Animals.
I like this movie. I like this movie a lot, actually. And it was one of those movies where it's kind of like when it first came out, you're like, are they going to ruin it?
Yeah.
But they totally pull it off. I mean, this movie feels like a Rambo movie, but with more of a kind of a more modern sensibility about it. And the whole message about like attempted genocide and like the idea that all these people around the world are like committing attempted genocide, and there are these people that are being killed for like no good real reason, and we have to look away because some of these regimes like are providing resources that we need or stuff like that. And it kind of raises questions like, how important is that, when you think about like all these people being murdered and not just murdered, but like in such cruel ways,
Right.
And it's like, is it really, I mean, how long can we look away before like we finally have to come to a realization that, just sending medicine isn't going to be enough. We have to do something else to stop these people from, abusing their power in this way,
Yeah.
And like Rambo's the medicine, that these guys need.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
Get your good killing done, man. And John Rambo, he's a good killer, man.
Brooks is dropping that knowledge because I like.
He is.
You really get the feel of like this is just the norm when they're the doctor's checking out all the kids and they got all the missing limbs, and you're like, this is just a normal day, and you're like, oh my gosh, man.
And that's why Rambo. I think that's why Rambo is so like beaten in the beginning. Like he's
for sure.
He feels like nothing matters. Like nothing he does matters. Like because nothing changes. Like at the end of the day, there's just gonna be more of these soldier fucks that come in and just kill again.
Right.
One of Rambo's struggles throughout all this movie is holding that beast within after he learns to kind of bottle it at the end of one, right?
Mhm.
And in every moment until the killing starts, you just see it seething in him. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
This one has the flashbacks to the early, like the first movie and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
And of course,
you get those
no
flashes.
Troutman because Krenner had died. But a nice little tribute by having his dialogue from the previous
his
movies
voice
in
is in there a little bit.
Yeah, so that was cool. I love this film. It's raw, it's brutal, it's necessary, it's a message. It's got, once again, it's not a simple message. There's not a simple solution to stuff like that went on in Burma and is happening in Myanmar and shit like that, right? And all over other places of the world. There's no simple solution to a lot of the crazy, complex shit that we do as humans and as societies. And I like this movie because it deals with that. And it's like, yeah, it's easy to condemn John Rambo for being a killer, right?
Yeah.
It's justified.
But in certain situations, you could become a killer. And so the guy who was so against him becoming killer winds up bashing a dude's brains out, and realizes that this is and Rambo the whole time is trying to make this point to them. And it feels like the only person that really, but Julie Benz's character,
Darla in red.
she's like the only one who can really connect with him, because I think he gets from her that she's aware, but she starts kind of reigniting the hope inside of him, and it's a sad moment. Like, you kind of know it's coming when they get captured. And then the dude, their pastor, comes and he gets them to go in, and without hesitation, he does, and it's a rough movie to watch, but I think I think especially for today, I think it's one of the most relevant of all the Rambo films. I love it. So let's rate it, including you out there in the chat. Out of 5 possible you digs, what do you give Rambo, Jelani?
I give this one a 5 because it brings back a message. Like, it brings it right back to First Blood. It's a great message. It is it's everything that we've talked about, especially Brooks. I mean, you nailed it, dude, about how these people are suffering, and it shines a light on it. And I'm glad that Sylvester Stallone decided to shine a light on it. And what he does with that 50 cal entire scene, that still gets me. Like, I've watched this movie probably 3 times now, and that is the best scene in the whole film, where he just finds that 50 caliber rifle and just mows, and you just stop counting. Because, like we said before, we were counting these films, how many deaths there were, and you can't count them. You can't count them in Rambo. I mean, it gives you a number, but while you're watching it, you're like, oh, they're dead. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. And he's getting them. He is murdering, and it is glorious, and it's deserved. And you like that come up, and so I give it a 5. I will watch this again.
Yeah,
I'll watch that scene again.
And it's nice to see him have some partners. Those mercs.
I like to see his help.
And you added some different characters and some different perspectives on the violence, and he even winds up with his own like sidekick. That dude, that sniper, that sharpshooter.
Boy, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He was that
Schoolboy was badass, dude.
No matter how many men I kill, my mates insist on calling me that.
Yeah,
right. You fucking horse shit piece of shit! What the fuck is going on? You bloody fucking hot ass stinky country. So, Strickland, what about you?
Oh my God!
Speaking of fucking bullshit. What do you see? Am I boring you, mate?
That's tough to follow it up, buddy.
Yeah.
Rambo is 100% a 5 you digs for me. Movies like this are important for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can look at everything that's going on in the world right now. I could kind of tie them in and see both with this movie and what's going on. You know, the idea that racism was ever dead is not true. It's just we're seeing it on film, we're seeing it on videos, we're seeing it. It was always there. It's kind of the same concept in Rambo. We kind of like to think that raping and pillaging and all these things were a medieval times kind of thing, and that's gone. But like, no, that's honestly still going on in third world countries. And man, it hits you in the feels. And then it gives you the action packedness of the John Rambo you fell in love with in the first three. Yeah. It's a 5 digs for me for sure.
Yeah, and it's great too because in First Blood they explain what happens to a soldier, what could happen to a soldier after war, after what they experience. Mm-hmm. And in Rambo they show you what they experience,
right?
Like very viscerally, and I think that I love it because of that. Speaking of, I love it. I love Brooks, the Mario Man, Master Music Machine.
Oh,
what do you?
Little hearts are coming off of my head, man.
I know, man. We can see them almost.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on TikTok.
What's a TikTok? Anyway, Brooks, what do you give Rambo out of 5 digs?
Yeah, I've got to agree with you guys. I think it's a 5. This is just such a good movie, especially considering like how far the character has come. Like it doesn't feel like a betrayal of that character, despite how many years it's been since the last movie.
Yeah,
and it fits him, like it kind of moves him into the current times in a relevant way that makes like his trauma is still real, and it's still something that it's important that this guy can still he still has a purpose, and he can still find a war to fight. He doesn't have to, it doesn't necessarily have to be him receiving orders or being sent in by these military guys. Like sometimes like you just see somebody in trouble and he knows he can help them, so he does. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the first time he's actually just done this, just done something just because, he feels like it, not because somebody's asking him, or like, your country needs you, Rambo. It's just Rambo's like, if these people are still alive, I need to go out and I need to get them because these cruel fucks are going to torture the shit out of them.
This is the movie where his story comes full circle for me. He spends the entire franchise up to this point running, right? He's on the road in the beginning of First Blood. He winds up in prison. He's in prison. He comes out. He goes to Thailand. He stays there. He's just he's a snake handler and a stick fighter, Then he stays in Thailand still, and
There's
stays
a snake
there.
handler in this movie. He did the stick fighting.
That's right. The stick fighting's 3. He's a snake handler in this one. You're right. You are right. But he's getting the snakes. But I like the subtle overall story arc of Rambo, and it comes full circle for me in this one. And it's because he stays close to where the war was. He stays close to where he's comfortable in the jungle. And in this movie, I feel like even though he proves to these people and the world proves to these people that they have a very naive idea on how to help things, but then again, to an individual that needs that medical attention, that needs that counseling, this is life-changing shit. You know what I'm saying? Rambo's thinking big picture. And then he starts learning through Julie Benz's character, Darla, not Darla. He starts learning to reconnect with humanity when she asks him about his family, right? And remember, she's the only one that will even speak to him, right? And he's like, I got a father somewhere, maybe. It was so subtle. And then to see this movie at the end where he goes back home, and First Blood ends with him being carted away to prison, right? And this one ends with him walking back home, and his hair is perfectly feathered and coiffed in that scene, by the way. And he's wearing them tight jeans. And to me, it's so cheesy, but it works. It works so well. He goes back home to the ranch. And to me, the Rambo films could have ended there. And a piece of me wishes they did. But I'm right there with you guys. 5 digs. 5 digs for Rambo.
Nice.
It's just as strong as First Blood.
It is.
It's
you got me.
Brutal. It's brutal. And First Blood was brutal, especially at the end, emotionally, like when you're committed to this character and you're feeling him break down, you understand why. But this one, it's a different brutality. It's more of a collective humanity, you know, and it's just really deep and nuanced to me. And I just, even though I have seen criticisms of this movie just being a celebration of violence, I'm like, you think it's celebrating it? Or are you trying? I think it's showing the dark,
I
stark
think the
reality.
earlier Rambo movies are more.
It is comeuppance.
Where you're cheering when he's blowing up people and hanging them, and like at the same time.
I think 2 and 3 are more of the would be more accused of that, if anything.
Yeah. In fact, Rambo 3 at the time, I think, was the most expensive movie ever made at the time, and was considered the most violent film of the time.
Wow, I didn't know that.
A guy died 3 ways.
It's true.
I mean,
so
like, wow.
that's a perfect score across the board on Rambo.
Yeah, man.
And,
did we not give a First Blood a perfect score?
We did.
Yeah. Okay. So 2.
Herminio gave it 4.5.
Nice.
Interesting.
Cool.
Interesting. And he also said Rocky 6 was really good, and it was. It was. So that's out of 5 Rambo films, 2 perfect scores from PCP. Think about that. But I did say that Rambo could have ended with the 4th film, and I kind of wish it did. So let's talk about Rambo Last Blood. Now, I'm not upset that Rambo Last Blood was made.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a terrible film at all. I enjoyed watching it. I just think that it's got an odd structure. It almost does feel the violence at the end of this, especially after coming from Rambo 4, the violence in this one feels a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more celebrated, but I get it. I get the message. In this one, he's trying to talk about, especially over the border, sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Sex trafficking is a real thing that happens. It's a real issue, just as real as everything else that's dealt with in all these Rambo films. And I appreciate that. I like the peak at where he is now in his life, like 20 years later or whatever. I like the subtle nods about his family. I like the relationship with his niece. I like the relationship with, I don't remember who she was. Was that his
I would assume it's his sister-in-law, maybe?
Sister-in-law, stepmother, something like that.
Yeah. She was sister-in-law.
In this movie, he kills 46 people, which makes it the second lowest death count in all the Rambo films. It was directed by Adrian Grunberg. It was Matthew Krylulnik and Sylvester Stallone that wrote it, of course. It's got a... I think it's okay. I like it, but it's to me, maybe it's pretty weak. It's pretty weak. I don't know. I'm still determining right now how I think it stacks against Rambo 3. You know, I don't think it's a bad movie. It's basically Home Alone in the third act.
Yeah, it is Home Alone,
which I don't mind.
If Kevin McAllister was real murdery.
Yes, exactly.
Home Alone with all his.
You cannot tell me, by the way. You cannot tell. Somebody needs to make a Home Alone today with Kevin McAllister, and this dude's like crazy
Kevin,
now.
These guys are outside my house. I'm really afraid. I need your help,
first.
man.
They drew First Blood, not me. But Last
Blood is Kevin. Not do a First Blood.
Last Blood's got some bits that are very impactful that I really feel. It's got an odd structure. It builds up so much intensity in its first hour, and then in the last third, it doesn't feel like it's a satisfying conclusion to me. But Rambo's still very badass. But he also is shown at his lowest point probably in this film when he gets his ass completely beat. And I just sometimes when you see somebody get beat like that and you see that makeup that's very effective where his face is all swollen, it's like, wow. But it's got characters that come in just to be convenient. Like the woman, she comes in just to give him information and heal him up. And then literally that goes nowhere.
That's it.
I was not expecting, and big spoilers, I was not expecting his niece to die. And when she did, that was like, whoa, that was a really kind of gut-wrenching scene. But then it just goes into Home Alone territory, and it feels like it's unbalanced because of it. And I like the throwbacks to all the other films. Some of the traps Strickland had mentioned to me were the same from the first one. And I like that. So it's not that I hate the film, but I think the film is pretty structurally weak. That's what I think. What about you, Jelani? Overall, what do you think about Last Blood?
I liked it. I did. I did like it. Yeah, the story is all over the place. It really is. But it does shine a light on sex trafficking and how dangerous it is. And at the very beginning of the film, I'm watching it, and his niece is kidnapped and basically, tortured and whatnot at the beginning, and then Rambo goes in like guns blazing, like he normally does. Like you're expecting him to kick so much ass. He breaks that guy's collarbone out of his skin.
Oh my god, that moment!
He broke his. I was like,
break it off.
What? And like it was just. I was like, that's Rambo. Rambo's doing it. And he's getting in there, and then all of a sudden these guys start showing up, and these guys keep showing up, and I'm like,
dude, in that moment, I kept going like, when are you going to start kicking their asses, Rambo?
Yeah, you're going to start kicking their ass, right?
When are you going to start?
He's outnumbered and outgunned, and he can't. And it feels it kind of hurt me because I was like, oh man, this is Rambo. You can't, no, and all the stuff that happens after, like they basically ruined that girl, but just because he showed up. He didn't even fight. Well, he broke the guy's.
They were gonna do that anyway.
They were gonna. Maybe not the next.
Those guys are just fucking pricks.
Yeah, they were. I hated those brothers, man. I could not stand them. I'm so glad they died, and it has the second best kill, like single kill in this movie. Like he goes up, and of course he does the fun house of terror in the underground tunnels, but he saves that one guy, that one brother.
Oh, he could have killed that guy. Remember that
4 times? Yeah.
I could have killed you 4 times.
Shot. Yeah, he was like he even got shot while trying to kill it. Or
they do a callback to the first movie too.
They're all dead.
Yep.
Yeah, they did.
And he goes up and he arrows that guy to the wall, and then uses his knife to cut his heart out and show him his still beating heart. Yes, that's cheesy as fuck.
Yeah, but to me, that's a little too on the nose.
It was way too on the nose. But
he literally even told him, he was like, I'm going to show you what it's like to have your heart ripped out. And then, like, right before that happened, I was like, if this dude cuts open his heart, I was waiting for it to catch on the flames. Kale Male Ma.
Yeah. I love that part. I'm sorry, that's the second single best kill.
I can dig it
because I was like, yeah, that guy deserved it. Yeah, he needs to go. I wish his brother died. I wish I could have seen his brother die, like him. Actually,
you just see his head, right?
You just see him drop his head on the highway. I like that scene. Though.
It's like,
or just drops the head, throws the head out the window.
Yep, come get me. And it's so great. I mean, I love the kills in this movie. I love the niece. She was kind of dumb for me, but at the same time, she wanted to know who her father was.
He's a kid,
I really wish the father had gotten more of a comeuppance. I wish he had done, because
I wish Rambo would like hit him at least,
Yeah, done something to him.
You get the idea that this guy's kind of like a spineless little shit, right? Her dad, right? Yeah. And I think that it's a little weird that he so blatantly answered her the way he did. It's like that was a little too much. Like
that was a little too much. Yeah,
I think he was just trying to drive her away.
Yeah, and I wish
I think he was trying to do with that.
Come back, either get a comeuppance or regret that happened.
Yeah,
and try to make it right, and then he dies or something. I would have rather see him die than her die.
And what's a great moment though, where Rambo's like, didn't he say something like, "I should have killed you a long time ago" or some shit like that?
A long time ago. Yeah, he did.
And then that dude popped up and he's like, what the fuck is this bullshit here? Who gives a fuck about what's going on? I got one arm and one leg and one eye. Who gives a fuck?
It's so great, man. But yeah, I mean, it's still Rambo.
He should have got his mercenary buddies together and just wailed on those human traffickers.
What a fucking shithole. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, and that guy died.
These fucking human pieces of garbage.
What the fuck are these tunnels? Who's blimey? Blimey, these bloody fucking tunnels everywhere. It's hot as fuck around here. Who wants to live here? Strickland, what do you think about Last Blood?
Hold on real quick. Well, last thing I want to say. The movie gets a bad rap from a lot of people. They reviewed it the wrong way. You're not supposed to view it like it is a movie that is based in reality. These are Rambo movies. This is Rambo, and if you come expecting a Rambo movie, you're getting a Rambo movie. You're not getting your politics of the day. You're getting a story that is inside of this world. That's what I say to this. I think
Well, I've seen some of the criticisms, especially on the portrayal of the villains, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's not the point. But I do think that every Rambo movie is political in some kind of way, including this one.
It does. It has a message.
It's got a message. It's trying to deliver it, and I don't fault. I mean, that's what storytelling is. Storytelling is trying to get a point across, you know. And they've been morality plays for thousands of years in humanity's evolution, and so I don't mind any of that. But I do think that this is more of a Taken film and less of a Rambo film.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like Rambo, I do have a very specific set of skills.
Yeah.
I will find you. I will kill you.
You've been practicing that all day?
Do you know, Brooks? You sound
I
like
don't have to practice Stallone, man. Stallone's easy.
What the fuck
You
is
gotta
this
talk like
shithole?
this.
What the fuck? Jay Strick. I would like to see more. I want his story. Can we get that guy back? Jay Strick, what do you think about Last Blood?
A solo movie with a British guy?
he's dead. He died in Rambo.
Give me a prequel.
He died.
Why do you keep doing the British dude before you go to me? I'm like, I got all the giggles, man.
It's just funny to me, man. I just love that dude. So I told you at work, Strickland, did I not? I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that British guy who's just like
Dude,
ramped
he's
up
so
his car
wild.
for no reason at all times.
You're right.
He
He's just
hates
on
his
a
life.
10. He's on a 10 the whole time. So Last Blood, I liked it for what it was. I think it was a good like homage to Rambo. Like I think it was cool to see him like not in a typical role, right? Like he got to like have experience a little bit of peace for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Like he got to basically they say in the movie he basically helped raise his niece for that 10-year span. And I thought that was cool, man. Like I feel like he deserved like a little bit of that happiness for all the good he had done.
Yeah.
And it's cool like they're tackling the human trafficking, and that's super important because like obviously that is going on in the world. And I thought it was a good movie. Like I liked it. It is kind of like probably the weaker of the films, but still for what it was. I mean, he's pretty old in this, right? Like he's like 70.
Yeah, he's like what? How old is he right now? Let's see.
He's got to be like.
He's in his 70s now.
Because you said he was 60 in
He's
Rambo.
73 right now. So he was 72 last year when that movie released.
Yeah, man. I mean, damn, you're still making action movies. I mean, he did a good job.
Killing it. Expendables, man.
I've actually never seen Expendables.
Yeah, me neither. I've never seen the Expendables movies, but I always wanted to.
I've never seen them either.
They're good.
Oh, we can do Expendables Fest.
You watch Expendables.
We might have to.
Two is, but one, bruh. Jason Statham and Sly Stallone are like they're a great duo. That duo is just gorgeous.
How many are there? 3?
I think 3. Yeah.
Are there 4? Did they do the one with the women, like all women or something?
No, not yet.
They were going to though. Right?
They were going to. I think it's only been 3, and I think I've seen all 3. I may have seen
all female Expendables. Huh? Would that be like Sigourney Weaver?
No, it was going to be like I don't even remember.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
That'd be a badass group.
Yeah, there are 3.
Yeah. One has Ronda Rousey, and I think that's the second.
Oh my God! And it's allegedly, it's tentatively called the Expendables.
I don't know about
They had early negotiations with Mila Jovovich, Cameron Diaz, and Meryl Streep. Supposed to take place in Bulgaria.
Okay.
Stallone is not involved. He would like to see Sigourney Weaver appear in the movie.
Yeah, you have Sigourney Weaver.
She's actually,
they're going to do a female
she's
like one of the first ones,
name
right?
I thought of.
Yeah.
And they're still planning on apparently an Expendables 4 at some point.
Might have to watch them.
The first one is great. The one with Mel Gibson, I think that's the third one. And it's good too. It's the old school Expendables versus the new school. And
Wesley's in those movies too, right? Yeah.
Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. And Arnold and the one of the best characters is what's his name? Drago. Uh,
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph
Dolph
Lundgren. Yeah, but
If he dies, he dies.
he dies. He's great in this movie, and he's a Mensa. He's in Mensa. He's a genius.
Speaking of geniuses, Brooks, what do you think of Last Blood? Brooks
This
has gotten
movie
all
was
the
kinda-
good segues, by the way, if you notice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just get the like crazy British guy.
What the fuck? Who would want to be here on this shithole live stream?
This movie's kind of bittersweet for me because
yeah,
it's like I really wanted, Rambo to just have to be happy, to finally, have peace. And it kind of sucks that it got ruined for him. But at the same time, you get to see him kill more people, which is always something I enjoy a lot. So I don't know. It's good. I like the movie, and I mean it was entertaining and it was good. It felt like a Rambo movie. Like it's definitely different from the other movies, but it's still a Rambo. It felt kind of like they were doing a take on like a movie like Logan, where they like show him
Rambo
in his twilight years, like on his way out, but he still has one more mission to accomplish.
One last ride.
Yeah.
They drew Last Blood, not me.
You son of a bitch.
Is that your
was-
British guy?
Yeah, that was my British. Sorry.
that was terrible.
What the fuck,
You
Strickland?
should have shown
That's
up
the
at some point.
shittiest. It's the most shitty fucking accent I've ever seen.
What are those horses? Those horses suck, mate.
I'm not even trying that.
That guy wouldn't be pleased with
What you
anything.
doing? Driving around the circle?
He could
What is
have
that?
Gordon Ramsay give him like shallots and filet mignon and all that. He'd be like, "What the fuck is this dry ass fucking meat? It's too fucking bloody."
This horse meat is bland.
It's raw.
Him and Gordon would go at it.
my God. I knew this Rambo-thon was going to be wild.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought it was because of the British Merc in 4?
Right? Not Rambo, it's the British merc.
He's my favorite character aside from Troutman and Rambo in the entire franchise.
I think you
I
just
want more
made that
of
up
him.
as the stream was going, though.
It's awesome.
What the fuck? All right. One thing I do love about Last Blood is the montage of all the films at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
That was a great moment. And I love Rambo. It's tied into childhood memories, video games. It's just Rambo has been ingrained in my life pretty much from as far back as I can remember. I mean, I was born in 81, so there was always pretty much been a Rambo in my life. And just like Brooks, I have a lot of affection, just like Jelani as well. And now Strickland. Rambo is a badass. It's one of my favorite action franchises. And I'm so glad we got to cover it here for Action Fest 2020 with you guys, man. We appreciate it. So now I'm going to ask you to rate it. I'm going to ask you out there in the chat to let us know how many you digs out of 5 do you give Last Blood. So, Jelani, what do you give it?
I'll give this one 4. This one's a good 4. It is the weakest. Well, not the weakest, but it's weak as far as storytelling. It's a Greek tragedy, though, of Rambo. He never finds happiness. His entire world is gone. Everyone that he loves is gone, and it kind of leaves on that somber note. And he may not be dead, riding his horse off into the sunset. I don't know. And it feels like it's just a sad movie, but it's a Rambo film. He did a lot of murdering, and he killed guys elegantly. And that, I mean, the way he set it up, and it was Home Alone, and I was so glad that he Home Alone all those people. I love how there was a gun
Yeah, you can tell.
every spot. Say what now? I couldn't hear you.
I said like the kills felt really more personal for him in this movie.
They did.
There are
Like,
people
really,
that were dead
like, he had
already.
a real
and
hate
he-
on for these guys.
Yeah, he already killed these people, and he's still shooting them like 5 times in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that damn shotgun, dude.
He was killing people, and the rewatchability, I'll watch it again just for that scene. If I can find that scene on YouTube just to watch that, I'll watch that again. Just like Rambo 4, I'll watch that scene all day. That 50 cal scene is the seller, and it's the signature move of Rambo now, and it everything about these films. I mean, I have enjoyed watching all of them, to be honest. It brings me back to a childhood that I really enjoyed, and there are a lot of things about it that I really love, and I'm glad that I had a chance to review them again. And this is Action Fest, so I love action movies. This is my favorite genre. This is it. I mean, if there are action movies involved, big stupid 80s action kick explosions, I'm about it. So, I'm so glad we got to do this. I was so excited we found out we were going to do this. Thank you, Robbie, for this too. So,
That was fun, man.
Yeah, dude.
Thank the British guy from part 4.
Oh, dude.
What the fuck is this fucking shithole? It smells bad. It stinks. It's so fucking bloody hot here.
But yeah, watch it again. 4.
Jay Strick, out of 5
God.
possible you digs, what do you give Last Blood?
All right, so this one, I'll say this. I feel like this one is definitely a 3-5, but like I said, there's too much love for damn John Rambo in me. I'm giving it a 4 because, God, I love Rambo. I want Rambo apparel. I want Rambo action figures. I want to read these damn comic books that we didn't even know existed. I am all in for Rambo.
That
And
animated series.
yeah, I need to watch that. I'm all in, man. I wish I still had my long hair. I was gonna wear a headband tonight and put on a trash bag. Tie. It's a 4. It's a 4 for me, man. I thought it was a good homage to the kind of like what Brooks said. It's kind of like an old man Rambo type of deal, and I thought it was cool. Cool for what it was. I don't think it takes away from the franchise. I don't think it necessarily makes it any greater.
Gotcha. There's the Rambo figure from back in the day.
Yep.
In all of its glory.
Oh wow!
It's got Zukas.
Why is his face like pale white?
It's because of the Rambo toy line that they didn't go with the Rocky Balboa G.I. Joe figure they were going to do. I remember seeing that one somewhere not too long ago.
Yeah,
They never did anything else. This is it.
Yeah, that's it. These are all
they've done
crazy to me.
Well, they did.
They're
They
newer
have
ones,
other
right?
characters. They're newer. The NECA figures.
Wow,
are
look at
there.
that.
Yeah, that looks good. Is that a doll though?
Give me like a figure arts. Give me a figure arts Rambo.
Yeah,
Look at Troutman.
Troutman's cool.
Troutman.
That's the one I'd want.
Troutman's got a big ass head, doesn't he?
Why? Yeah, why is his head so
Body's
big?
weird too.
Where's his penis?
Damn. Oh yeah, we never even talked about the knives.
Yeah,
My favorite knife is in 4.
yeah. Where he turns into a machete.
Oh, there's the Nika one. Look at that.
Yeah, that's it.
Was it not the same knife in all the movies?
No, it's a different knife in every movie, and it got bigger. It gets bigger progressively.
I mean, the last one was pretty brutal. They got used against him.
I love in part 4 when he makes that knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that giant ass machete.
Yeah,
oh my god, he's Jason in that movie.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he's killing. He's
all right.
murking.
All right, speaking of murking, Brooks has a murking. What do you
Merc with the mouth?
What do you well, you know what a merkin is, right? It's like it's like pubic hair toupee type thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I was trying to change it up.
Oh, okay.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Brooks, what do you give Last Blood?
I'd give this one a 3.5.
Wow.
It's
okay.
It's good. I still like it.
3.5.
But out of all the Rambo movies, I definitely say it's the I think it's kind of the bleak tone that it has. It's a little too much for me. Like compared to the other ones, like, Rambo's had some lows, but this is the lowest, I think. Like, I think if the niece had lived, it would have been a little less bleak.
Yeah,
I probably would have liked it a little better. But then again, you really you need him to have that real hate rage too for the climax. So
I think kidnapping her and putting her in a prostitution ring is probably enough, right?
And drugging her and drugging
her
being
traumatized, that would be bad. But I mean, like,
her life is ruined.
They
Like
marked her
she'd have been
face too.
psychologically unless it was.
Well, your life
been
isn't
hard when you're
ruined
coming
unless
back.
you believe that it's ruined. You know.
Oh yeah, you're right too. I don't mean like ruined. I mean like it starts bad.
Like
It
she'd
will
definitely
be
be
bad. And she's a
traumatized.
survivor.
And
be
she'd have
traumatized.
problems, but I think
She
like
could
if she
fight out.
lived, like he could have worked it out. He may not have even gone after him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, true.
I think he
But I
still
think-
would have.
Find out next.
Yeah.
Find out next time.
He probably
Yeah,
may have been
right.
more focused on trying to heal her than
Right.
get
Then trying to
revenge.
then get revenge.
But he would have definitely
Or
kept it
it
in the back of his mind, like, "What do you do? I need to take the trip down to Mexico.
I'm just
these
re-
fucking
I'm-
guys."
At this point, I'm just ready for Rambo Last Blood Part 2.
Yeah. Told you, Indian reservation. It's
Anyway.
coming.
Rambo's ghost.
I want the giant spiders. I'm going to agree with Brooks and give it a 3.5. I thought about giving it a 3.0, but that montage at the end really saves it. Plus, even though it does get Home Alone-y, those death scenes are kind of fun.
They're
And
clean.
man, he really lays out those traps. He does that he does that in one, and it's
Yeah.
nice to see it come full circle here. But it's got some weak structure points. It kind of loses its momentum for me after she dies, and then it kind of then you're just like, okay, now we're going to kill all these people and it's over. It's probably not that. Pretty much almost every Rambo movie is predictable except for maybe the First Blood one if you have never seen it before. But like this one was too predictable at times, But I really did like it. And hey, Perry's in the house. Thank you so much, homie.
Hey Perry, thanks, man.
With the
That's
donation.
cool.
Thank you, my man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, dog. Great Teen Dog Shays night last night. People are loving it. So everybody loves it. We talked about aliens. We talked about all kinds of bullshit. And Perry's fascinated with dinosaur dongs, apparently. So that's funny.
Weird flex.
Weird flex, bro. Speaking of weird flexes, man, Rambo, that's just a great action franchise. But yeah, I'm 3.5. I think Rambo, the fourth one, would have been a stronger ending for the franchise. But I'm glad they did another one. I do enjoy it. I will watch it again. I love the Rambo films. I love the riding off into the sunset at the end on the horse.
Yeah.
I get the idea he's riding to die, I think it's over for him, but
For
I don't
sure.
know.
He got shot pretty bad.
Yeah, and
But
it didn't
he's
look like he
survived
was,
worse.
yeah, he has, but
Yeah, but
not
he's
as a
old.
70-something-year-old man.
Right.
And if they did
Nah.
another Rambo film, it would probably be a while till they wanted to do something that violent again, and I think he'd just be too old at that point.
Yeah.
We're going to get a reboot, though, one day.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Nah.
They're going to
Me either.
reboot First Blood, and it's going to have so many twists and turns in it, and it's going to be weird.
I'll put Jai Courtney in it.
Yeah, and then a giant mechanical spider will show up or something. I don't know. All right. So before we get into the final bit of the segment, which is going to be our show and tell portion of the show, to conclude our visit on Rambo's, and Herminio says 3.5 you digs for Last Blood. And Ryan Blue Thunder just popped up and said, I saw the last Rambo in a 4DX theater. My first time in one of those, and having the sex traffickers explode on screen and miss spray in the theater, that was a bit satisfying.
Wow,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
We were going to
Wow.
go.
Cool.
Jelani was at this band choir trip. We went to San Antonio at Lee, right?
Yeah.
At Lehigh, and same
Lehigh?
school. The name,
Lehigh?
by the way, that our high school shared the name of the high school from Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
And that's kind of neat, I guess, but not
Weird
really
flex.
if you really think about it. It's a weird flex, isn't it?
Weird flex. Yeah.
It's weird flex. What was I even getting to?
Something
You were
about
saying we went to San Antonio.
Oh yeah, we went to San Antonio. That we were going to go to a 4DX theater, like it was going to be like a Western theme, and it's
What
a
is
4
4DX?
4D is when they add the element of like when people get like
mist.
exploded and you get the mist, or if
Yeah.
if a person shoots something, you see sparks
You feel
somewhere,
Spark, you see spark somewhere. Yeah.
and shit like that.
It gives you that extra experience.
yeah.
But we were
Hey,
going to go to one of
uh,
those, and it's something that happened and it had to get shut down for that
Mhm.
night. You remember that?
Yeah, I
I
did.
was so pissed because I wanted to see that.
pissed.
It was going to be
gonna
like a
fun,
Western
man.
movie. Yeah,
We didn't even know each other back then.
not
We-
really. No,
yeah. No, we didn't know each other at all. We
because
just
you
on
were
the
in
same
choir,
ship.
I was in band.
That's
Those
right.
two worlds. But I was in the choir room every morning before school started. I was always in the choir room chatting up with everybody and passing around the
You're-
tapes of Rockin' with Rockin' Robbie and the Yacht Club and the 1 through 5 times 2 and shit like that.
You're the blonde-headed kid. I remember
did.
you.
Oh, yeah, I used to dye my hair.
You used to dye your hair a lot.
Yeah, it was more
remember
orange, but yeah,
It was orangish.
Yeah.
You're still the blind kid.
Well, thank you.
I didn't know you were.
I didn't know you were. I thought you were kind of obnoxious.
I am. Thank you.
Anyway, so right
You
now
say
we're gonna.
something- Yeah.
I got distracted by James. He
Yeah.
says, "Hey Robbie, huge fan from Scotland. Hell yeah! Always
Thanks,
watch your
dude.
videos, but miss the
Scotland.
stream because of the time difference. Keep up the good work. You give me so many good comics to read. Well, thank you so much, James. I'm glad you got to catch us here at the tail end of this one.
Scotland, that's down under.
Yeah, whenever we do see people from Europe, S Squared will be on here sometimes on a live stream, and I'm just like, man, what time is it, man? Go to fucking bed. What the fuck? Go to goddamn bed. You're staying up all fucking night towards pop culture philosophers. What the fuck is this shit?
I
This
just
shite.
choked on my water.
So to wrap up the Rambo thing, we're gonna, even though you can probably technically figure it out by our ratings, even though some of our ratings are the same, I want you to list your Rambo films, rank them as a top 5 from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jelani, go. And you out there in the chat, do it as well.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 is going to be Rambo 3. It for me, it's the weakest of the group. It is not my favorite, but at the same time, it still has Rambo elements. I really can't hate on these films. I really can't. But if you're gonna make me rank them, this is how it goes. So 3 is at the bottom for me. 4 would be Last Blood. Last Blood is it's structurally all over the place, but the kills are satisfying. That ending credit scene does really well for me. I like him riding off into the sunset. I liked everything. A lot more people got their comeuppance, more so than 3, which was weird. So I like that movie. 3 will go to, you're gonna hate me for this. It goes to First Blood. First Blood. Yeah, I said it. I say that because of the order.
How, Sway?
Just listen to me. It's a good movie. It's an excellent film. It's a great drama, but it's not the action film I see. Okay? It's just not. I'm sorry. It's a great film. Don't get, like I said, you're making me rank these. So here we are.
Brother Anakin.
Yeah. Well, so First Blood. I mean, I'm sure First Blood is the top of everyone's list. But here we are.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm going to write this into the next few weeks. You just wait and see.
2, great. Well, then I need to say what I need to say real quick. Venom. There, we'll get that back going. But anyway, then it'll go First Blood Part 2 because it's my nostalgia factor, how I love it. So it is clean. It is what I expect of a Rambo film. How I expected Rambo to be. But then I saw First Blood and I was like, oh, this is First Blood. Oh, this is, it's great. So First Blood Part 2, nostalgia booms. Number 1, you should know, it's Rambo 4. It's Rambo. Rambo hits home. It's violent. It's gross. They use digital blood in that. I noticed a lot of digital blood, but
it's so quick. I don't think it was too distracting.
Yeah, you can't tell. But man, the murder, the 50 cal murder, the beginning scene of how they show the actual death at the beginning of the movie, that movie got me from beginning to end. It's violent. It's still Rambo, and he's out of his prime, and he's still kicking it, and he's doing it. And that's my favorite Rambo movie.
Okay.
It is still my favorite movie. It blows up.
It's an unexpected but respectable top 5, Jelani.
Respectable, and I love it. That's my line. That's my list.
J Strick, what's cracking you up so much?
I'm fucking crying. I can't stop thinking about the damn British voice.
Really,
Top 5 is garbage. It's so stupid.
I love my line. I love my top.
You
five.
put
Oh
First
my
Blood at number
God.
3. You idiot. You bloody idiot.
I did. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's my list. Won't.
That's fine, man.
Gosh,
J Strick,
Well,
what's
you
your,
don't like
what's,
First Blood. Let him go.
literally crying.
J
What
Strick,
the
what's your top 5, buddy?
All right. God. Last Blood is 5. 4 is Rambo 2. 3 is Rambo 3. 2 is Rambo, and 1 is First Blood.
Okay.
The 2 and the Rambo 2 and 3 are interchangeable for me, but for now, I like 3 better than 2. Boom.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Herminio, you're confusing me on your top 5 here.
Yeah,
got
I was like, what?
Number 5 is Last Blood. Number 4 is Rambo 3. 3 is Rambo 2.
2 is First Blood.
2 is First Blood. 1 is First Blood.
One
Oh, I
is
see. 3 is Rambo. Okay, 2 is Part 2, and 1 is First Blood. I got you now. All those numbers. It's a weirdly named franchise, right?
It is.
Yeah.
First Blood Part 2. Watch.
Brooke, speaking of angry, bald British guys who never get satisfaction out of anything, you're on your way to being one of those. He's gonna shave his head and move to Britain and become a merc and get pissy about everything. What's your ranking of the Rambo films?
Well, 5 would be Last Blood. 4 would be Rambo 3.
Okay.
3 would be Rambo 2 or Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
2 would be Rambo or Rambo 4, and 1 would be First Blood.
Okay. I have the exact same top.
Correct way to put them.
I'm right there with you. Those are the same ones I do.
Yeah.
I would do it that way. Yeah. 5
So
is
the only
Last
one-
Blood. 4 is Rambo
Watch me
3.
cry about your list.
3 is Rambo 2. Nobody's crying. What are you talking about, Jelani?
I'm talking to Brooks, man. I'm talking to Brooks, man. I'm not talking to you.
That wasn't Brooks that was talking shit. It was the British guy that's inside of Brooks that was talking shit. First Blood's the best one, then Rambo, and that is close.
Mm,
But without First Blood, there's no Rambo.
mm.
It makes sense when you talk.
And 3 is Rambo 2, then Rambo 3. At any next time I rewatch them, those 2 may possibly change.
So
They
the
may
only
do
thing different from my list is I got 3 at 3, and you all have it at 4. So
Yeah. And
Well, it's
Jelani's
like-
got a
Jelani fucked
very
it up.
different. No, he didn't fuck it up.
No, I'm kidding.
really.
I'm kidding. I'm messing with you.
I even wrote my list down of what I wanted to see.
Oh
as
yeah.
I watched
Well,
them.
I have a script too.
Good job. Well done.
What the fuck?
was a
Some
great-
scissors?
Send a script, you Nancy boys. Writing a script like an idiot.
Am I boring you? I also like he kept trying to like. It was like he kept trying to be buddies with Rambo at times too.
Yeah.
Go back there and you,
Yeah, I've seen it.
He
I've seen it
was.
before.
He really
I've
was.
seen everything. There's nothing that surprises me. Fuck you! Come after me! Tear my leg off! I don't give a fuck.
Oh my god.
My wife has already got my balls. My ex-wife.
Apparently, if you want to hit me in the giggle fields, you just do a stupid ass British guy at the a-hole. And it gets, like I'm literally
You and
dying.
Gordon Ramsay
I
would
don't
be best friends.
understand.
All right,
It's not
y'all.
even that funny. God.
2.5 hours talking about the Rambo movies, and I am satisfied. Hell yeah. So now we're about to get into, well, before we do that, so next week, we're not doing anything. Next week, we're taking the week off. Then the week after that, there's a pause on Action Fest. Let's just slow up. And Dylan has given us 10 movies, of which I have narrowed down to 5 for the next PCP Army movie poll. And that will go up tonight or tomorrow. The movies in this poll will be Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Christine,
Hey,
Pumpkinhead,
never seen that.
The Blob, the one from the 80s.
Seen it.
Yeah.
And the 5th pick is the pick that I really hope everybody votes for. Near Dark.
Oh, cow's blood.
So
Cow's blood saves us all.
I'm going to encourage everybody to vote for Near Dark because I really want to do that one. But
I've never seen that either.
so
It's
that'll be
good.
2 weeks from tonight.
These are all good movies, by the way.
2 weeks from tonight, we'll be doing Dylan's horror movie choice poll to celebrate his inauguration into the PCP Army.
Yay.
The excitable PCP crew, actually. The inner circle of the PCP Army, I should say. And the week after that, so 3 weeks from tonight, we're going to be talking about every single Mission Impossible movie. Dun 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 dun.
So clean.
I've only seen the first 2, and that's why I never watched any more. But I heard they got better, so we'll
They
see.
get better.
Yeah.
After 3, it's all systems go, man. You'll love
Yeah.
it.
6 movies, Mission Impossible. Like Rambo, I watched these in 5 nights, not like Strickland. I didn't do 2. I did it 5. I did 1 a night.
Brooks
And that
did
was
2,
great.
right?
Brooks threw them out. Yeah.
I did 3 in one night and 2 another night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did 2 and 3.
I did 1 a night, and that was cool, but I cannot do 1 a day of Mission Impossible. It's just I cannot handle a Tom Cruise movie every day. So I probably start watching those soon
God
for
damn.
me personally. I hate Tom Cruise, man.
They're so good, man.
The only
I don't know
the only actor I hate more than Tom Cruise is Dennis Quaid.
you
How
and
can you
Dennis
hate Tom
Quaid.
Cruise, you bloody wanker?
He does all of his own fucking stunts. I've been there. I've seen it all.
Weird flex.
So that's what's coming up. Now we're about to get into show and tell, but before we do that, it's time for a quick intermission.
In other words, you have to take a piss.
Yep.
I gotta let the dog out. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be back too.
Same.
Leaving
Wow.
Strickland all home alone.
Gosh, they're gonna be like, "Gosh, we stopped. Why did we stop?"
Well, big gulps, eh? Well, see you later. Cool. Just hanging out by myself. See if I got anything cool to show off.
What the fuck? Where did everybody bloody go? Fucking shitholes. Jelani actually just left and then came, or did I hit the wrong
no,
button? I
back.
think. All right.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. The fuel.
I think I hit the button.
Ah, see.
Brooks, do you like
You kicked me out, bro.
do you like the lighting behind me, Brooks? Did you notice that, Brooks? I got the lights behind me now. Look at that.
Oh, cool.
Changing color.
Hmm.
Look at that.
Hmm.
I went red for Rambo because the Rambo movies always have that red logo, you know?
He's got a red bandana.
Yeah, he does. And he had a J
And blood is
necklace.
red, and he spills a lot of blood.
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he does.
They drew first blood. I'll draw last blood.
The Drooper's blood, sir.
Yeah.
Blood.
All right. Show and tell. We're going to start with Brooks tonight. Brooks, why don't you show us what you brought for show and tell? You are on, my man.
Oh, boy. Well, as you probably know, I finished out that Age of Apocalypse line. And so I got to put together this weird-looking fuck.
Nice.
Gross amalgam of whatever the hell he is, Sugar Man, with his
hands
Mjolnir that he had personally engraved with his name, so you know that it's his. Like I think he like erased the old enchantment and just put the sugar in there instead.
Give me some sugar, baby.
And I got that old gray beast here with his book.
Oh, nice. Where'd you get that?
The Deep.
Cool.
Got
Hey,
held back
Robbie,
for me,
I
but
want
yeah,
that.
man. He's got his book, and he's all like, he looks so happy. He's got that smiley face.
I think we still have some Jelani. You want to come by tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll come back tomorrow and get it.
Yeah,
That
hell
looks
yeah.
awesome, dude.
Yeah, I'll go there in the
Yeah,
morning.
he
And pull
comes
one
with an
aside.
alternate head that's more angry too,
Yeah, he's got the beast head from the first figure.
and he's got some
Freaking-
glasses, but they don't fit on his head, which I thought was kind of dumb. Like I figured they'd have some kind of like something on
He's
his
a
head for the
hipster.
glasses to hang on to, but they don't. I guess he's supposed to hold them in his hand, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's stupid.
Yeah. Like, why don't they just give him an alternate head with glasses on? Really?
Right?
What
Yeah, that looks
That's
awful.
just bullshit. This beast is garbage. It's bloody garbage. Am I boring you, mate?
Jeez,
I've seen it all.
forever. This will never end.
I actually do talk to my figures sometimes. Like, what are you looking at?
I
What
love
are
it.
you looking at?
I love it. I love it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's my show and tell.
Very
for the
nice.
week.
Very nice.
Yes, I did
James
see.
says, "Has any of you guys watched Ready or Not?" I have not. Jelani has.
It's good. I have. I loved it. It was fantastic. It's
Brooks,
got
you
great,
seen that one?
I never
great
heard of it.
kills, man. Great kills. It's about this girl who marries into this family. She marries this guy, and they're like game. They're like
Oh, is it the hide and
the
seek?
games
Like it's
and
like
stuff.
a adult
And they
hide
play
and
hide
seek
and
game.
seek.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
remember
play hide
seeing
and
like
seek.
a ad or something for that.
Yeah, and they're trying to kill her because it's like the secret is amazing, but it's good. I liked it a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Strickland, you're up. Show and tell.
What's cracking? I got we're going Power Ranger theme tonight. First off, Robbie's got this. I know he's got this one. Well, he's got all these things actually. This is the foil cover from this week.
Nice.
Shiny.
Beautiful.
good.
It's Power Rangers 32, and it's a wraparound foil cover, which is dope.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for foil covers. Then I got Megazord pop in and Tiger Zord. So we'll pop these bad boys real quick. Nothing too crazy. I don't have to put a dragon together.
It take like 2 hours to put a dragon together.
There's
Have to
no
put together
Dylan.
a super mega
no
dragon
Dylan.
Zord,
There's no Dylan like unwrapping
the
thing.
Shenlong Zord.
Robbie yelling. That's pretty dope. It's pretty big too.
Yeah, it's nice.
Cool. I
It
like
look like a
that.
tiger.
It's not in tiger mode, dipshit. What the fuck do you think?
Why
It's
they
not
call
in
it
tiger
tiger mode?
mode, you
It's not fucking
fucking
tiger.
moron.
Oh god.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. I can't.
That Megazord's got a really cool glow effect too, because it's like the legs glow, the colors glow. It's really nice.
The paint's a little like chipped, but
Yeah. Everything
got
glows on there except for the black. Like it's really nice.
how do you get it to glow?
You put it in light and then you turn the lights off.
Oh, weird flex.
Surprise.
If you got a black light, you can really get it to pop though. But it's a very subtle glow, but it's good.
Yeah, I don't want to put a black light in here. You never know what will pop up, you know?
You've been jizzing them all over Kinko's.
Call it painting in here. It's like a Star-Lord's bedroom.
What the?
What the fuck? You making a Guardians of the Galaxy reference in this Rambo review? You idiot!
All right, I'll go next then because that's a nice segue. The Power Rangers, and you know I love my Power Rangers, so I got something Power Rangers. But first, last week I showed the Orko. I did open the Orko up, so there's the Orko from that line.
Nice.
Pretty
that's
cool.
Clean.
Wheels,
I
too.
like that a lot.
The biggest-
I still need to get that Orko.
What I don't like is he comes with a couple wands, and he comes with his flower, but they don't really fit in his hand.
Why?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. They
They
don't.
spoon in his hand, and he always drops it.
Yeah, it doesn't really latch on. But one
Stick-
effect that does, he's got this
Yeah, the
magic
sparkles
effect.
stay on pretty good.
Yeah, the sparkle
Did
effect
you-
is really cool. Look at that.
I gotta get me one of those.
Look at that.
Yeah, I want an Orko.
He's got wheels, so he'll roll. And he's very small compared to the other Orko, which is like this, but still pretty
It
cool.
won't, it won't latch?
What?
You said it won't latch on?
The wands and shit don't.
You gotta latch it onto the teeth.
Okay. I found one of my old Ninja Turtle figures I have. This is a Star Trek Ninja Turtle.
Oh, cool.
It's Raphael.
that's
is
dope, actually.
Raphael's McCoy.
It'd be better for the Star Wars,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's
Why
pretty
is
cool.
he McCoy?
Damn it, Leo! I'm a duck you.
Right? Because Donatello was Spock, right? And Leo was
Yeah.
Kirk, I think. They only did 3, didn't they?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
any
But
of
I don't have any of the accessories or anything, but I
Should have
do.
been Scotty.
No, he's Scotty, I think. What? No, he's not Scotty.
He's
This is McCoy because that's the
That's
the
McCoy.
medical.
That's the medical. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's McCoy.
Yeah,
You're the
it's
medical.
weird. I don't know why he's McCoy either, but he is. He should have been. Well, there's nobody that Raph could have really been. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Sulu.
No, I think McCoy works. And McCoy's kind of the grouchy,
Yeah.
grouchier guy.
Yeah.
Raph
That
is
makes
kinda
sense.
way too.
So I'm going to open this one up because out of all my Lightning collections, I still haven't opened up my Yellow Ranger. In fact,
Oh,
it's funny.
that one's awesome.
Is that Trini or Aisha?
It's Trini.
That's training. I
So
would like
what's-
Aisha too. Go
What's
ahead.
really funny is that you guys know I have the Power Ranger figure arts too, right?
Yeah.
My Yellow
Yeah.
Ranger is still unopened.
Ooh.
So I don't know why I
probably
hate
could- You probably
What?
sell that for a lot of money.
Yeah, I know it's worth a lot of money now. But I'm still gonna open it one day. I'm not selling my Power Ranger stuff right now. So let's get this bad boy open. Let's see here. All right. So you said this one's a good one, Strickland?
Oh yeah, I like the Pink Ranger and the Yellow Ranger in this one. They're super solid.
I like the whole line, to be honest with you. And the Mighty
Some of
Morphin
the-
figures have been
Some of
my
the heads are goofy to me.
some of the heads are really spot on. Trini's head's really good.
That's what I'm saying. Kimberly and Trini's are perfect.
Yeah. I really want a Trini figure if I could ever find one.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
hard
this
to
was
find.
their
Yeah,
one
they
per
are.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah. I would want a Trini.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah. Then I have to get all the other Rangers.
Yeah, you gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
There's Trini,
Only have the villains.
the Yellow Ranger.
Nice.
She obviously has her daggers, and she's got some special effects on them. And what's really cool is that they're going to be able to make the power weapon when they're all said and done.
Yeah, cool.
Oh,
So-
I didn't think about
It's
that.
it's like figure arts.
But yeah, if you look at Trini's or Kimberly's bow, it's got spots to put all this stuff. So that's pretty cool. So she's got the gun, she's got the effects. But yeah, I got my Trini open now, so that's dope. So now we're just
Nice.
waiting on Black Ranger.
Yeah. Well, they have one. It's Walgreens exclusive.
Well, I have that.
Not-
It's the Dragon Shield Black Ranger.
Oh,
yeah.
But they haven't done a regular one.
Got you.
That's
Got
rumored to be in Wave 6.
you.
I
Okay.
believe.
And Blue. We're waiting on Blue Ranger, but that comes out soon. Mighty
You got-
Morphin.
Oh yeah, Blue's in the next one. Blue's in the next wave. It's Ranger
okay.
Slayer Blue, Zeo Gold, and is it Time Force Red?
It is.
The last thing I have to show off is, so we know, thanks to the PCP Army, we now have on its way here to the Huntsville Attic, we have a Masters of the Universe Evil Horde Slime Pit coming, and I'm very excited.
Very
So
awesome.
I got to give a big shout out to my man Mike, who's in here right now. I got to give a big shout out to Mike because he found slime.
Oh, cool.
He found
Silly
slime.
Scrooge.
So I'm going to open this up and show you guys the fun of this slime that's very old school. Oh,
Kids used to eat that stuff. Is it cold?
It is cold.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it so much. Oh my God, it's so goopy. Oh,
Hey, do the sneeze bit. Do the sneeze
oh
bit.
yeah. This,
Yeah.
Achoo! Oh my God, dude, man, I can't believe what the fuck. This COVID is getting me all snotty and slimy.
That joke is so tired.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, got some slime, and now we're just waiting. Right now, the tracking says it's going to be here Tuesday, so
Okay.
we will be doing some slime. Hermania wants to know when we're doing the Rocky movies. We
Dude,
should.
I'm
We should.
telling-
We should.
You should,
I
and you
wanna
gotta
watch
watch
Rocky 5,
Creed.
though. You have to watch.
Y'all never seen Creed, and it's fire.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Rocky
Creed.
Balboa or either of the Creed movies yet.
Yeah, me either.
So the schedule right now is next week we're off. The week after that, we're doing the Dylan poll. Dylan's in here representing PCP, by the way.
What's up, Dylan?
Dylan, we expected Dylan to be on here tonight, but Dylan didn't quite Dylan, there was a miscommunication, and Dylan didn't think that he was part of the Rambo-thon. So I think we missed out. This thing would have been 4 hours though if we would have had Dylan here. Let's be honest.
Very true.
But Dylan will be here in what? That's funny. Dylan will be here in 2 weeks to do that poll that we talked about, and we're going to be launching that poll this weekend in the PCP Army on Facebook. Then after that, we're doing the Mission Impossible films, and then we are going to be doing a Sylvester Stallone poll that's going to involve some of his one-off action films like Cobra, Demolition Man, Over the Top, Judge Dredd. You get where I'm going with that one, right?
Stop or my mom will shoot.
Don't stop or my mom will shoot.
Judge Dredd?
I am the law.
Yeah, that would round it out right there. That went to 5. So that's what we got. But we have plans. We should do a Rocky one soon too. I don't know if Walmart carries this line. Do you know, Jelani? I've never seen these at Walmart.
I've never seen those the Super 7s in Walmart.
Yeah, or a big
My
bag.
Walmart's kind of not very good about stocking figures.
Yeah,
They are done now, though. Like they're done. They've already all come out, and
they're
over.
done.
They're
Is that
done.
the one that merges?
Well, Mattel bought the rights back.
What the fuck?
That was worse than my Ralph Ellison joke.
From last week.
Yeah.
All right. Jelani requested to go last. He said, I got some pretty awesome show and tell. He wanted to go last. So Jelani, you're up.
All right. Well, here we go.
Good play.
I am super excited for
Good luck beating Slime, by the way.
You're welcome. I don't know if I can beat that. I'm gonna start small. I'm starting small. This is something that came in the mail a couple days ago for me. This is Slade. This is the Terminator DC. This is super hard to find for me. It took me like a good solid month to track down a decent looking one with all the parts. He's got like the weapons in the back. He's got the gun. I'm not a fan of this gun. But his
horses in the back.
His freaking face is like spot on. I don't know if I can get that centered. And I love that hand. And how to get weapons to hold, I use sticky tack. I put a little sticky tack in his hand so he can hold it. He's got the great holster that doesn't for the sword. It doesn't come out. He's got a gun on the other side. He's very detailed. I'm very happy I had this one. He goes well with DC Classics. So yeah, that's the first thing.
Mask head?
No, he doesn't have the mask head. There is one with a mask head, but I wanted Slade's face to come out on it a little more. But he poses really well too, and eventually I will have that one. But I love this one too. This is awesome. Okay, next. I finally pulled the trigger on this one, and it finally came in the mail today. So I was really excited for this. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but this.
It's a
black
box.
It's a black box. It also has this. This is the G.I. Joe Classified series. And I'm just showing the artwork from it of the box that I get.
That's cool.
It's pretty dope.
Now, this is all the artwork that comes with.
What's in the box?
The G.I. Joe Classified Snake Eyes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good looking figure, man.
I did not. I'm mad I didn't pull the trigger on this sooner because it was expensive as crap. I'm very mad. But this is, hopefully they will make a Storm Shadow. But look at how, I haven't taken it out of the box because I'm scared because I don't want to break anything. But it has all his weapons for Snake Eyes, the Classified series. I was so excited this came in the mail today. Because it was supposed to come yesterday, but they gave me something that said missent. And I was like, what's missent? And I was mad as hell. So I called and couldn't get anybody. And that was a lot of work. And they sent it at 9:00 this morning. And I was like, yes.
Yeah, so that's I'm not the new Hasbro line. That's going to be kind of like the Lightning Collection and the Legends and Star Wars Black and all that. Yeah.
Superposable, all the weapons. He's got a weapons storage case. I can't even do this right. Size, hatchets. It is freaking amazing. I'm so glad I have this figure. And then, all right, this is the big thing for me. I'm putting it down. Now, I told my dad I was doing a Rambo a thon. And we watched all the Rambo movies. He's only watched the first 3. But he loved one big thing about them, and this is what he gave me to do for this review. I've been excited for this all week. I wanted to go last because of this. I wanted to show you, first of all, the box.
Oh my goodness.
Now, bruh, I saw the last time I saw this box, I was probably 11 or 12. He's had it hidden in his closet all this time, and he said, I have this available for you.
Bro.
For review. Bruh. Bruh. Bruh.
Dude.
Got an edge on it? Or is it
Damn.
Look at the Rambo blade. Bruh. He's had this. It's a Bowie knife. It is like a signature Bowie knife. It's a replica of the actual knife that he used in Rambo 3.
That's legit, dude.
Yeah, dude. I wish I was trying to get
Didn't Stallone design that knife too, I think?
Yeah, he helped design this knife. It's done by a guy named Gil Gibbons, I think. His name is on the edge of the blade, but it has Rambo 3 like engraved in it, if you can see that. And the guy who made it right there on the side. It is weight. It's heavy. This is a freaking knife. How Crocodile Dundee says it's a knife. This here's a knife.
What the fuck? That's not a knife. It's not a knife.
It even comes with a side holster with Rambo 3 embossed in it.
Dude.
Bruh, I was so excited to see this, man. I about cried. And then my mom was like, you can't get that. I don't want you to bring that over. And you can't. I was like, I'm just doing this for a review. I wanted to show this off because it's an elegant thing. And I of course I'm never going to use it for anything, and I can't take it out like in public because it'd be a bad day. But man, yeah,
they drew
I had
blood,
to show it off, and I wanted, yeah, dude, it's my favorite thing.
Dude, that thing's awesome as hell, man.
Yeah, I really want to show that off. Now I have to get this back to him.
You know, I was sitting here thinking, damn, I wish I would have got one of those old school Rambo figures. You know, and I was like, nobody would have beaten me in show and tell. You pull out the Rambo knife.
You were never going to win. Yeah.
Hats off to Jelani's father, because that's badass, dude.
It's my jam. Yeah, I'm so.
The only thing cooler would be the Rambo IV knife, which is the biggest one.
It's the biggest knife. Cool. It's a machete. Yeah.
Dude, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, I liked it. I like it a lot. I really got to get back to it.
Herminio says great knife.
Yeah, thank you, Herminio.
All right, that's the end of the Rambo-thon, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, checking out. Final thoughts, Strickland?
It's been a heck of a ride, man. 5 movies in 2 days. They kind of ran together. Maybe Rambo 2 is better than 3. I don't know. This damn British guy, I know is not going to be I'm going to hear this for the next 6 months from Robbie. So, if anything, cool. But honestly, these Rambo movies are awesome. Never getting to watch them and watching them now as an adult, I really appreciate the films. And just truly some of the best action movies I've ever seen. Hands down.
Nice. Brooks, final thoughts.
Are you saying it's over?
You're stealing my shit.
No, you have to turn it off.
What the?
I like how you can't say fuck. Like, what's wrong, Strickland? Is your wife gonna get like come into the room and be like, is something wrong in Kinko's?
I can't say fuck.
I can't.
Away.
What the?
Why are you driving the customers away, you idiot? We gotta sell this paper.
Jelani, final thoughts.
Man, everything. Love everybody. Love yourselves. We live in trying times, man. Make sure that we are excellent to each other. Be excellent to each other.
Be excellent.
You have to be excellent to each other. That's all I've ever asked, and that's all we should ever be. Love each other and wash your hands. Black Lives Matter. Eat your greens. Don't do drugs.
That's true. All of that. That's all true. You can do some drugs.
You can do some drugs, but don't do all the drugs. Don't do all the drugs.
One final thing, I do want to. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's my Toxie.
Oh, Toxie! Oh, he looks great. That flag. Oh, that's perfect. That's very nice.
The Rambo franchise that never launched.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, everything that you guys said, Brooks completely stole my shtick because I was going to be like, next week we're off, but don't worry, nothing's over. We'll be back here for a live movie review, PCP movie night in 2 weeks. But he kind of stole that, but that's fine. So I guess I'm just going to end it with saying,
you had to have known.
I should have. As soon as I told Brooks that we were doing this, he just looks at me and goes, nothing is over. But so thank you guys on behalf of everybody here. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for joining us at the PCP Army, joining us over at popculturephilosophers.com for podcasts and a whole lot more, and lots more excitement coming up. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We'll catch you next time. And remember, what the bloody fuck is going on around here? This shithole. Who gives a fuck what's going on? We appreciate you.
God.
I'm boring you, mate. I'm boring you.